A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
And now, Backstage Wife, the story of Mary Noble and what it means to be the wife of a famous star. Although the famous trial lawyer, Clarence Brewster, has been retained to defend Larry Noble against the charge of murdering Oliver Wilson, Larry is far from easy in his mind about the prospect of acquittal. Not only is he worried about the evidence piled up against him, but he also dislikes the idea of wealthy Rupert Barlow footing the bill for the lawyer's services. Larry knows only too well that Rupert is less interested in his acquittal than he is in making himself indispensable to Mary. Right now, Larry is being taken to the visiting room in the New York City jail. Waiting for Larry on this occasion is Lester Jordan, a well-known actor who's a friend of Larry's. And now as Larry enters the room, we hear...
You got 10 minutes, Mr. Noble, that's all. I'll be right outside.
That's quite all right. I'll be here when you want me.
You'll be here. That's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Isn't it?
Well, Larry, I came right over as soon as I got your letter.
And I appreciate it, Lester. At least it means that Harold Ramsey finally got around to mailing the letter.
I didn't quite understand what you wanted, Larry. As a matter of fact, most of the lads at the Green Room Club have been wondering what they could do to help you. You've been the subject of conversation practically all the time.
Yes, I suppose I have. Not much of a credit to the club, am I?
That's not what they think, Larry. We all know there must have been a rotten mix-up somewhere, and it's sure to be straightened out.
You're a lot more confident of that than I am, Les.
Well, we're all... That is, I'm judging by what I know of you, Larry. We've been friends for a long time. Not that we see much of each other except when you come to the club, but I feel that you must be the victim of a terrible mistake. We all feel that, you know. This isn't just the expression of one Lester Jordan.
I'm glad to hear that, Les. You don't know how it bucks me up. I wouldn't have asked you to come here to see me, except that I'm desperate.
I don't get it. How did they figure you for this murder?
Oh, you must have read about it, Les. I'm supposed to have lost my head when I heard about Claudia Vincent eloping with young Wilson, right smack before her debut in my play.
Well, yes, you hear all kinds of stories, Larry, but you don't have to believe them. Somehow, I don't see you as a guy who'd go completely overboard for any woman. I mean, you've always seemed so completely happy in your marriage.
I've been very lucky in my marriage, Les. A lot luckier than I had any right to be.
Oh, I don't know about that. Well, anyhow, you're not the type to stray too far from home.
Well...
maybe this Claudia Vincent is a world beater. I guess she's pretty attractive and all that.
She is.
And suppose you did persuade Harold Ramsey to give her a part in the play. Well, what of it?
The police are determined to make a lot of it, Les.
Larry, I wish I could help. I wish I were a top-flight trial lawyer instead of just an actor nobody ever heard of.
I wouldn't say nobody ever heard of Les Jordan. Not with your record of hits.
No, I've been lucky, but what I wish right now is that there was some way to help you.
As a matter of fact, there is, Les. That's why I wrote to you.
Well, let's hear it. You know I'll do anything I can, and so will the others at the club. You can count on us all the way.
I'm worried about raising the fee for my lawyer. That's my greatest headache.
Clarence Brewster's taken the case over, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Well, Larry, you couldn't get a smarter man, even if he is considered a bit on the tricky side.
Oh, I know all that. But Brewster doesn't work for love, you know. His fee is going to be plenty tough to raise.
Well, I understood Rupert Barlow was taking care of it.
Yes, he's offered to, Les. But I'm dead set against accepting his help. It's a personal reason. But believe me when I say it's more important to me than anything else. More important even than winning an acquittal. I don't want my wife to be that deeply in debt to Rupert Barlow. In case things don't go right with me.
Oh, I had no idea. Well, let me talk it over at the club. Let me see if we can come up with a solution, Larry.
I guess you know I don't like to call on you. On any of you.
Don't worry about that, Larry. Just let me see what can be done. But believe me, we're going to
All right, time's up, Mr. Noble.
All right, guard, I'm ready. Thanks, Les.
Why,
Whatever happens, I'm grateful to you for coming here today.
All right, let's go.
And at the same time, in Rupert Barlow's luxurious Long Island home at Oyster Bay, we find Julia Dixon, his attractive young housekeeper, coming into the kitchen. She's surprised to see Victor, Rupert Barlow's chauffeur, seated at the table.
Oh, Victor, what in the world are you doing in here?
Drinking a glass of milk and eating a piece of pie. You got any objections, Miss Julia?
I didn't mean that. Well, I thought you were in New York by this time. Where is Mr. Barlow?
I couldn't say for sure, but I got a pretty good idea.
You mean he left here alone? Well, I thought you were supposed to drive him into New York.
That's what I thought, too. Only when he comes out front to where I had the convertible, he says he don't need me after all. He'll drive in himself. Guess he don't want company these days. Well, it's okay by me. The boss ain't no treat to me, I can tell you.
Victor, that'll do. I won't have you being disrespectful.
Okay, Miss Julia. Maybe we ought to all bow our heads when we mention the boss's name, huh? He's been such a great guy. He stood by us and helped us all he could. I don't think...
Oh, how can you say such things, Victor?
Look, Mr. Rupert Barlow is too busy thinking about himself, how he can make time with Mrs. Noble, now that her husband is in the jug.
Mr. Barlow is anxious to help Mr. Noble. Well, he's doing everything he can.
Yeah. If you call spending all his time with a guy's wife, turning over his New York apartment to her and sending her flowers and presents all the time. Sure, it's a big help to Mr. Noble. Ain't it, Miss Julia? And another thing, what makes you think he won't drag one of us into this murder case if it would help him any?
Well, there's no question of that.
Yeah?
No question at all.
How can you be sure? Just try making a false move and you'll find out how far you get. Look, the boss has got you in a corner, Miss Julia. The quicker you face it, the better. He thinks he's got me stymied, too. Only maybe I'll surprise him.
I won't stay here and listen to any more of your disgusting threats. There's not a word of truth in anything you say.
Okay. Only don't try stepping out of line. You'll find out soon enough you're hooked. Yeah, milk's pretty good.
And at the same time, we find Mary Noble sitting at the dressing table in the apartment on Central Park South, which Rupert Barlow has turned over to her while she's in town waiting for Larry's trial to open. For several minutes, she's stared unseeing at her image in the mirror. And suddenly, she's aware of a figure standing behind her. And she turns with a start.
Oh, Rupert, you frightened me.
Oh, I'm sorry, my sweet. Well, that's the last thing in the world I'd want to do.
But when did you get here? How did you get in? I mean...
Do you think it's bold of me to let myself in?
No, of course not. This is your apartment. But at the same time...
Please don't be alarmed, my dear. I have no intention of invading your privacy. I rang the bell several times. It must be out of order, or perhaps you didn't hear it. I suddenly became alarmed for you, and I let myself in with my key. I called you softly when I came into the living room. I didn't want to frighten you. But when there was no answer, I had to make sure.
I'm sorry, Rupert. I didn't hear a thing. It wasn't until I saw your shadow reflected in the mirror.
But I am forgiven, am I not? You don't think that I've taken advantage of my position as owner of this apartment?
No, of course not.
Good. I hope you mean that, Mary. I swear to you that nothing could be further from my mind.
I didn't think I'd see you today, Rupert.
Well, did you think that I'd stay away one single day when there might be something I could do to help you through this desperate trouble? You misjudge me, my dear. You don't know the depth of my desire to help you.
I appreciate it, Rupert. But you've done too much as it is. And I'm afraid I can never even begin to make it up to you.
Well, we'll see. Now, let's not say any more about it now. You look lovely. That color is absolutely perfect with your hair and your eyes. Let's go someplace very special to do justice to the way you look tonight.
Oh, that's very sweet of you, Rupert. You do make me feel better. But I'm afraid I can't go anywhere tonight.
No? Why not?
Because I've already told Maud Marlowe that I'd come to the theater for her. They're not rehearsing tonight.
Maud Marlowe. Now, surely you don't mean that you turned me down to go out with that absurd old frump?
Maud Marlowe has been closer to our family than anyone else.
Entirely too close, if you ask me. She's always hanging about, always sponging on you, living with you all this time out on Long Island. And now, even in this apartment that I wanted you to have to yourself, Maud Marlowe moves right in. It's enough to drive a person crazy. Now, I insist that you phone her at once and tell her that you've changed your plans.
But I haven't, Rupert. Nothing would induce me to do such a thing to Maud. Of course I'll meet her.
Rupert Barlow's face darkened with anger as he fights back the words that he'd like to utter. But Mary doesn't appear to notice. Be sure to be listening tomorrow to Backstage Wife, the story of Mary Noble and her husband Larry Noble, famous Broadway star.
The story you are about to hear is true. Only the names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Fatima Cigarettes, best of all long cigarettes, brings you Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to robbery detail. A store clerk has been murdered, shot to death in a robbery. The hold-up man is described as tall, well-dressed. He escapes in a taxi cab. Your job, get him.
Oh, no.
Ah, that's different.
Yes, what a difference. In Fatima, the difference is quality. You see, Fatima is the quality king-size cigarette because it contains the finest Turkish and domestic tobaccos superbly blended. And Fatima is extra mild with a much different, much better flavor and aroma than any other long cigarette. Because of its quality, its extra mildness, its better flavor and aroma, Fatima has more than doubled its smokers coast to coast.
Fatimas cost the same as other long cigarettes, but your first puff will tell you...
Ah, that's different.
Yes, in Fatima, the difference is quality. Ask your dealer for Fatima, the quality king-size cigarette. Best of all long cigarettes. Start enjoying Fatima tomorrow.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Friday, August 17th. It was hot in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of robbery detail. My partner's Ben Romero. The boss is Captain Walker. My name's Friday. It was 8:35 p.m. when we got to the Church of St. Damien, the vestibule.
That must be her playing the organ.
Yeah, I don't see any stairs. Wonder how you get up there to the loft.
Looks like that might be the sexton over there.
Well, let's ask her.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah?
We're looking for an Ernestine Matthews. Understand she's the organist here at the church.
Well, that's her playing up there now, playing over a few pieces for Sunday.
Could you tell us how to get up to the choir loft, sir?
Surely, through that door over there. Follow the stairway straight up. Can't miss.
Thank you.
Sure has been a long time.
Yeah, what's that?
Climbing stairs to a choir loft. Sang a lot in church when I was a kid. Boy soprano.
All right.
They finally threw me out.
Mm-hmm.
Voice change.
Yes, did you want something?
Are you Mrs. Ernestine Matthews?
Yes, did you come about the new choir book?
No, ma'am. Police officer.
Oh, can I help you?
It's about your husband, Miss Matthews.
Bert, what about him? Has Bert done something?
He was hurt, ma'am.
Well, I don't understand. Bert's working at the store. What do you mean he was hurt?
There was a holdup.
Dear God, my husband. Was he hurt bad?
Yes, ma'am.
Where is he? I've got to go to him. Is he in pain?
No, ma'am.
What are you trying to say? Dear God, tell me the truth. Which hospital is he in?
They took him to Georgia Street. They helped him all they could.
You're not trying to tell me Bert's dead? You're not trying to tell me that, are you?
I'm sorry, ma'am. In the past 16 days, 7 armed robberies had been committed, apparently by the same man. The suspect was described by victims as tall, heavily built, and very nervous. He was armed. It's cold logic that every suspect who's armed in the commission of a robbery is a potential killer. It's a fact that's been proved 100 times over. The man we were after had proven it again. We had used every means at our disposal to identify him, through the stats office, the record bureau, latent fingerprints, through informants and witnesses. We'd gotten out an APB on him containing his description and his method of operation. We'd maintained stakeouts. We hadn't reached him in time. Early that evening, a downtown grocery store had been held up. One of the clerks, 31-year-old Bert Matthews, failed to empty the cash register quickly enough, and the bandit shot him 3 times through the chest. He died almost instantly, and the hold-up man escaped. There was only one witness, another clerk who had been on duty in the store with Matthews at the time of the hold-up. His name was Jess Tallman. He was brought to the city hall, where we questioned him further.
Did you see Bert's wife? Does she know? Yeah, we dropped off at the church on the way in. Drove her to her sister's place.
Still can't get it through my head. One minute I was talking to Bert, next minute he was dead. It's kind of hard to take, you know.
I'd like to go over that description of the hold-up man. You were pretty upset out there at the store. Do you feel up to it now?
Yeah, I'm okay.
All right, now you just take it easy. Tell us everything you remember and take all the time you need.
Well, I know he was a big guy. Over 6 foot anyway, I'm sure of that. He had a good build, too. Wasn't skinny.
How about his face, Jess? You get a good look at it?
Yeah, I did. It was thin, and he kept working it around, you know, twitching like. Guy was plenty nervous.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell us anything else about it?
He was young, about 21, I'd say. Had dark color eyes. That's about all I'd swear to, Sergeant. He had a hat on, I know that.
Mm-hmm. How about the rest of his clothing?
I wouldn't be sure about it. Could have been a gray coat, blue coat, I don't know. I wouldn't want to give you a bum steer.
Did you get a look at the gun?
I couldn't miss that. It was a big one. It wasn't shiny. It was kind of dark blue color. I can see the guy now walking in the store and pointing it at Bert.
What time was that again, Jess, when the bandit showed up?
Just about 7:30. Bert was behind the counter. I was in the back stacking the shelves. The guy just walked in, pointed the gun, said, "Give me the dough." I heard him say that.
Mm-hmm.
Bert was kind of surprised. He just stood there for a minute, and the guy said, "Hurry up, give me the dough." And Bert said, "Okay, you can have everything." And he reached to get the dough from the cash register. And that's when the guy did it. He hit Bert right in the chest.
What happened then?
Bert moaned a little and fell down on the floor. I got so mad I started running for the guy, but he swung around at me with a gun and said, "Stay where you are."
Yeah.
Well, I didn't want to get killed. I stopped. You can't blame me for that, can you?
Did you follow the man when he left?
Well, you see, he backed out of the store, and when he got to the sidewalk, he jammed the gun in his pocket and ran down the street. I ran out after him, saw him jump in a taxi cab and take off.
Did you get the cab's number?
Well, he was too far away for that, at least halfway down the block. I know somebody else must have been driving it, though.
How do you know that?
The cab was already moving when the hold-up guy jumped in. He got in the front seat.
How do you know it was the front seat and not the back?
The way those cab doors open, you know. Front doors swing out to the left, back ones swing out to the right.
That ties in, Joe. Used the same MO on those hold-ups last week.
Yeah. You got anything else to add, Jess? Anything you think we ought to know?
It's about the size of it, Sergeant. You don't think I'm yellow, do you?
Well, how do you mean?
I mean, because I stopped when he pointed the gun at me. Guess I should have grabbed him, but that gun looked as big as a cannon. Let's face it, I'm not that much of a hero.
Well, I'll put in with you, Jess.
Huh?
Neither am I. Along with a team of men from Homicide Detail, we continued our investigation of the holdup and killing. Ballistics reported that the slugs taken from the body of Bert Matthews had possibly been fired from a .38 caliber Colt revolver. The slugs were in good condition for identification. All the possible suspects picked from the mug books by the victims had been checked out. All of them had been cleared. Fingerprints left by the bandit at the scene of his latest crime were checked out. No make. We tried to check the taxi cab used in the escape. We got nowhere. The morning after the Matthews killing, we got a call from Sheriff's Homicide. We went across the street and checked with Inspector Bowers.
Either one of you remember that case about 6 months ago, the Harry Solomon killing?
Oh, yeah, Inspector. It's pretty vague right now. Your men handled it, a county case?
Yeah. Let me lay it out for you. It's just possible it might tie in with that killing you fellas had last night.
And what's the angle?
Harry Solomon was a taxi cab driver. The night of February 26th, somebody saw him pick up a fare at Sunset and Highland about 10:30 p.m. That's the last time he was seen alive.
Yeah, I think I remember.
The next morning, we found Solomon's body in a ditch out in the valley. 2.38 slugs in his head. Found his cab a few yards up the road, abandoned.
Killer used a .38, same kind of gun used on last night's job.
Here's something else that ties in.
Yeah?
A description of the passenger Solomon picked up at Sunset and Highland the night he was murdered. The last fare he ever handled.
Mm-hmm. White male American. Over 6 feet tall, heavy build. Age, 20, 21, dark eyes. Had a dark suit on and a hat.
Matches up all the way down the line.
You had a robbery motive figured on the Solomon killing, didn't you?
That's right. Except for a $5 bill hidden in his wallet, Solomon didn't have a penny of his receipts for the night. Might have been another reason behind the killing besides that.
Yeah?
It's just barely possible Solomon might have known the hold-up man, the guy who killed him.
How do you figure?
Solomon had been a cabbie for 14 years before he was murdered. From this hold-up man's M.O., using cabs for a getaway car, it's possible he might have been a cab driver at some time or other.
You mean if the killer got in the cab and thought Solomon recognized him, was suspicious of him?
That's right. Could have been reason enough for him to kill Solomon. I know there's a lot of coulds and ifs and maybes in it, but I thought you might be interested.
Well, we'll check it out first thing. How are your men coming on the Solomon case?
Progress is pretty slow.
Well, we'll keep you posted on anything new.
Fine. If we can help, let me know.
Right. Bye. Two sets of 38 slugs.
What do you think?
Let's ask the crime lab. We put in a request to Russ Camp and Ballistics to check the 38 slugs found in taxi driver Solomon's body against those found in the body of grocery clerk Bert Matthews. Then we contacted the special agent at the taxi cab company. We asked him for pictures of all their drivers employed by the company during the past year who were 6 feet in height or over. He told us that they'd have a file ready for us the following morning. We drove back to the office and checked in with Russ Camp at the crime lab. He was examining the 38 slugs under the comparison light.
Just a few more minutes, fellas. Have a chair.
Yeah, all right.
Not much luck so far. No. No. Yeah. Well, that's it.
Yeah?
No make. These slugs come from 2 different guns.
That night, 2 more armed robberies were committed. One at a liquor store, the other at a cafe. In both cases, the hold-up man escaped in a taxi cab. The description of the man who robbed the liquor store matched that of the bandit who shot and killed Bert Matthews. The big switch came when we checked the cafe hold-up. There, the victims described the suspect as short and fat with dark blonde hair. He had a deep scar on his chin. During the robbery, this suspect had become so nervous that he dropped his gun, but he'd succeeded in getting outside and escaping in a taxi cab before he could be apprehended. The gun was taken back to latent fingerprints and checked. It was clean. Russ Camp checked it through ballistics.
Some days are like this, fellas.
What do you mean?
That cab driver Solomon was shot with a 38.
Yeah?
Bert Matthews was shot with a 38. A different one, though.
Mm-hmm.
This gun the bandit dropped tonight, it's a 38, too.
Yeah, we know that. What are you getting at?
Doesn't match either case.
The next morning, we started working one of the few leads we had left. We drove down to the taxi cab company and collected the pictures of all the drivers that they employed during the past year who were 6 feet in height or over. There were 87 of them. We started checking them out. It's what the working detective calls legwork. It's slow and it's tedious, and you're not sure it's going to amount to anything even by the time you finish. 2 nights later, the taxi cab bandit hit again, his first repeater, a restaurant on South Figueroa. He'd robbed the same place less than 3 weeks before. Ben and I interviewed the manager, a Mr. Cavallo.
Telling you, Sergeant, I can't take any more of it. Twice in 1 month.
Yes, sir. Could we talk back there in one of the booths?
Oh, yeah. Come on.
You got a good look at the man, did you, Mr. Cavallo?
2 feet from him. Memorized his face from the first time. It's no joke, you know. So I have no time for the customers. I'm too busy opening the cash box for that thief. Here, sit down.
Thanks.
Well, and you're positive it's the same man who robbed you before. There's no question there, huh?
None, I'm positive.
And he used the same M.O., too.
Yeah, sure. M.O.? What's that?
Oh, excuse me. I mean, he used the same approach, the same method of operation.
Everything was the same. The man, the gun, the taxi cab, everything.
You didn't get the number of the cab, huh?
I looked for it. I didn't see any. Must cover it up some way.
Mm-hmm. Well, we've got some pictures here, Mr. Cavallo. I'd like to have you look at them. Just tell us if you recognize any of them.
Well, I won't do any good. I already did that. They showed me pictures the last time.
This is a different lot, sir.
Oh, all right. Quite a few of them, huh?
I'd like to have you check each one of them carefully, if you would. Just take your time.
Yeah, we can't sit here without coffee. Natalie!
Well, I wouldn't...
Natalie!
I don't care for anything.
Yeah, don't be silly. You can't work without eating. Natalie!
Yeah.
Coffee, 3 cups.
Okay.
And now, where do I start?
Well, these right here, if you'd just check these over, please.
Uh-huh. No, not him. Uh-uh. Not him either.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, not that one. No. Is that all?
No, I have some more here.
Oh. Hey, that's an ugly-looking guy, huh? Look at that scar.
They look familiar?
No.
Better check with the skipper when we're finished here.
Yeah, it's been a couple hours, hasn't it?
That lousy, no-good thief.
Sir?
Right here, this one. That's the guy.
You sure?
I opened my cash box twice for him. I'd know his face in a million.
Morris Copley, age 21. Description matches. Let's go, Ben.
Thanks, Mr. Coelho.
It's only 40 minutes since the robbery. He's probably not even home yet. What can you do?
We'll wait up. 10:30 p.m. We parked down the street from 527 Dayton Avenue, a two-story white stucco apartment house. We checked the names on the mailboxes. Morris Copley's wasn't on any of them. We rang for the manager.
Copley? Morris Copley, no. He doesn't live here. Never heard of him.
I wonder if you'd take a look at this, ma'am.
This picture, ma'am. You ever seen this man before?
Well, let me get over here in the light. Let me see now. No, he doesn't live here.
And you've never seen him before?
No, I didn't say that. I just said he doesn't live here.
And you have seen him before?
I believe I might have, yes. Matter of fact, I'm sure of it. He's a friend of Mr. Tobin's, apartment 5. Comes to visit Mr. Tobin every now and then.
Is this Mr. Tobin in now, ma'am? We'd like to talk to him.
No, I'm afraid not. He works nights, never comes home before 2 a.m.
Oh.
Yeah, he's a cab driver.
You are listening to Dragnet, authentic stories of your police force in action. Oh, no.
Ah, that's different.
Yes, what a difference.
There's a difference you can hear, there's a difference you can see, but the difference in Fatima is quality.
Yes, friends, when you compare long cigarettes, you'll find that in Fatima, the difference is quality. Quality of tobaccos. The finest Turkish and domestic varieties, extra mild and superbly blended, to give you a much different, much better flavor and aroma than any other long cigarette.
Quality of manufacture. Smooth, plump cigarettes, rolled into the finest paper money can buy.
Quality even to the appearance of the bright, clean yellow package, carefully wrapped and sealed to bring you Fatima's rich, fresh, extra mild flavor.
Fatima's cost the same as other long cigarettes, but your first puff will tell you...
Ah, that's different.
Yes, in Fatima, the difference is quality. Ask your dealer for Fatima, the quality king-size cigarette. Best of all, long cigarettes. Start enjoying Fatima tomorrow.
10:45 p.m. In the presence of the manager, we made a search of the apartment registered in the name of Ralph Tobin, the man who was supposed to be a friend of the suspect, Morris Copley. We found nothing that would tie either of them up with the robberies and the killings. Before the manager returned to her apartment, we instructed her to say nothing about our being there in case Tobin or Copley returned. We called the office and told them we'd received an identification on Morris Copley. They checked them both through R&I. Neither had any criminal record. They got out an APB on Copley. We waited. Midnight came. Nothing happened. 1 a.m. 1:30. Still no sign of either man. 1:45.
Somebody's coming around back, Joe.
Yeah. Kitchen door.
Maury, you back already?
Hold it right there, mister. Police officers.
Oh, Fanning.
Who are you? Is this a stick-up?
Police officers.
He's clean, Joe.
What's it all about? What do you want?
You Ralph Tobin?
That's right. This is my apartment.
You know a Morris Copley?
Copley? Yeah, I know him. You're looking for him? He's not here.
We know that. Where is he?
Wish I knew. I'm looking for him, too. He owes me money.
Copley's a pretty steady visitor here, is that right?
He was till I lent him that $65. Haven't seen him since. He took off.
When was that?
When? About 2 weeks ago. Yeah, just about. Look, you mind if I sit down? I'm a little nervous.
Go ahead.
Kind of upsets you, you know. Why are you looking for Maury?
I'd like to have you repeat what you said when you came in that door.
What I said? I asked who you were, didn't I?
No, I mean before that.
Say, I don't think I know what you're getting at, officer.
You said, Maury, you back already? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I guess I did. I guess I thought Maury came back to pay me the $65 he borrowed.
You didn't make it sound like that, Tobin. I got the idea you were expecting.
Expecting him? No, I haven't seen Maury in 2 weeks, maybe 3. He took me for $65.
All right, that's enough small talk, mister. Now, Copley's in deep. You're going to match him if we don't get a straight story.
Some cans of beer in the refrigerator. Let's have one around,
Skip the beer. Where's Copley?
I'll swear on the Bible if you want me to. I don't know. Look, if Maury pulled anything heavy, I'm not in on it.
Ben, you want to check with the manager? Ask her when's the last time she saw Copley here.
Yeah, right.
Now, wait a minute, officers. I want to cooperate. If Maury's in deep, that's his fault, not mine. That's right, isn't it?
That's right. Now, where is he?
I don't know. That's the truth. I'll tell you something else. I wasn't squaring. I saw Maury early tonight, 6 o'clock. Came here and borrowed another $5 from me.
But you don't know where he is now?
No. I'd sure like a can of beer if you don't mind.
All right, sit still. I'll get it for you.
You sure you won't have one?
No, not me.
No, thanks. I don't want him.
There you go.
Good cold beer. I like it when I get nervous. It always calms me down.
Say, Tobin.
Yeah, officer?
You haven't taken your hat off.
Oh, I was nervous. I guess I forgot. There.
Your hair always been dark blonde?
Since I was a kid, yeah. Why?
How about that scar on your chin? It's a pretty deep one.
Beer's sure good.
I asked you about the scar.
It's kind of embarrassing. I got a little high one night. Fell off a merry-go-round. Big night.
Now I've heard everything.
We had a robbery report a couple of nights ago, Tobin. Hold-up man was just about your height and weight.
Yeah?
Dark blonde hair. Had a scar on his chin, too.
I'm afraid you got a wrong slight, officer. I worked my cab every night of the week. It wasn't me.
Mind if we have a look at your car outside?
How'd you know I had a car?
We didn't. Let's give it a look, shall we?
Why do you want to look at it?
You have anything to hide, Eddie?
Of course not. I'm not like Maury. He's always in trouble, always on the lam. You probably think it's funny when you check the glove compartment in my car.
Will we?
Yeah, you will.
Why's that?
Keep a gun in there. You know how many cab drivers get shot. A guy can't be too careful.
What kind of gun do you have, Tobin?
Revolver. Regular revolver.
What caliber?
38. Why?
2:30 a.m. We searched his car, picked up his 38 caliber revolver, and then we drove Ralph Tobin back to the office where he was detained for questioning. We had a stakeout placed in his apartment. Russ Camp and ballistics checked Tobin's gun against the slugs which had taken the lives of Harry Solomon and Bert Matthews. It was found beyond the question of a doubt that his gun had been used in the Solomon killing. We confronted Tobin with the evidence. He started talking. He told us that Copley was responsible for the murder of both Solomon and Matthews, that Copley had borrowed his gun for the Solomon job. In all the robberies except one, he described himself only as the accomplice. He drove the getaway taxi cab. The only occasion he tried to handle the actual holdup was at the cafe, where he became so nervous that he had dropped his gun. Before he was booked on suspicion of murder, Tobin told us that Morris Copley still had 2 .38 revolvers in his possession. He insisted he had no idea where Copley was. Ben handled the questioning while the stenographer took Tobin's statement. I contacted Inspector Bowers and informed him of our progress. 11 a.m. I got back to the squad room. All right, did you check back through that personnel record we got from the cab company?
Yeah, I got half an idea, I think.
Yeah?
See here on Copley's application for the job?
No, sure, we checked out all those references. They don't go anywhere.
No, I mean this right here. Married, yes. Children, 1 daughter. Age 4 months.
Hmm.
Well, this application's dated May 6th. That means his baby was born in February.
Yeah, sure. Copley was working here then, so it's 10 to 1 the baby was born in a local hospital.
That's what I mean. If we find the right hospital or the doctor, they could lead us to him.
There's the phone book. Let's go. From noon until 4 p.m., we called every hospital, sanitarium, clinic, and rest home listed in the book. The answers were the same. No record of confinement for a Mrs. Morris Copley.
Well, seemed like a good idea. Who are you calling now?
Well, we've got one more, the county hospital. Well, this is Sergeant Friday, Police Department, Robbery Detail. Yes. I'd like to find out if you have any record of confinement for a Mrs. Morris Copley. No, that's Copley. C as in Charlie. Yes, thank you.
He might have sent his wife out of town to have him, baby.
That's possible. Yeah. 1118. Thank you. 1118 Rochester, Copley's aunt.
Let's go.
4:30 p.m. Together with Olson and Thaxter from Homicide Detail, we drove out to 1118 Rochester Avenue in the Crenshaw district. The house was vacant. From a neighbor, we learned that Copley's aunt had moved 2 weeks before. We got her address from one of her friends in the neighborhood and finally located her at work in a beauty shop on Melrose Avenue. We posed as traffic investigators. The aunt told us she thought we could find her nephew Morris at home, an address on East 13th Street. 6 p.m. We located the house and parked the cars a half a block away. As we approached the house on foot, we saw a light burning in one of the windows on the left side of the house. Thaxter and Olson covered the back. At a given signal, they entered the back door. Ben and I went through the front.
It's empty.
Yeah. Thaxter!
Nothing back here, Joe. Empty.
That's great.
Looks like somebody passed him a tip-off just in time. Look at the mess this place is in.
I got out in a hurry, all right.
Hey, what's going on here? What do you men think you're doing?
Police officers, your name?
Silvera, one of the neighbors. You looking for the Copleys?
When they leave?
20 minutes ago, I guess, in an awful hurry. What's the trouble?
You know where they were going?
Well, no, but you might try Mr. Copley's aunt. She lives over in Rochester.
They're not there.
Well, have you tried his sister's house?
6:45 p.m. The neighbor, Silvera, directed us to the home of Morris Copley's sister, a small frame cottage on the edge of Beverly Hills. The lights were on in the living room, but the shades were drawn. Thaxter and Olson made their way quietly around to the back. Ben and I went up the front steps and rang the bell.
Yes? What do you want?
You Miss Copley.
Yes? What is it?
Police officers, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Oh, he isn't here. Maury isn't here.
We know he's here.
Living room's empty. Must be in the back, Joe.
You can't. He's in the bedroom with the baby. He's got a gun. You can't go in there.
Where's the bedroom?
It's the end of the hall at that door. He was sleeping. I think he's awake now.
The baby close to him?
He's in bed. She's propped up on pillows right next to him. He's got that gun with him. Don't go in, please.
Where's the bed situated in the room?
It's right inside the door to the left. Oh, please don't go in. He won't care what happens to the baby.
Ben, I'll open the door. You hit the light switch and cover me. Watch the baby.
You better stay here, Miss Copley. Your baby won't get hurt.
Let's go. All right, let's go in.
Drop it, you!
Grab the gun, Ben.
All right, come on. I got it, Joe. All right, Copley, get him up. Come on up. Joe?
Yeah, I got it.
Just a little frightened, ma'am. She's all right.
I'll kill you, Mary. You tell him where to find us, didn't you? I'll kill you for that.
Maury, I swear I didn't. I swear.
Lousy dame. Nobody else knows she's the one who told you, didn't she?
No.
Then who did? Who told you?
You're looking at her.
What do you mean?
Your baby.
The story you have just heard was true. Only the names were changed to protect the innocent.
On December 16th, trial was held in Superior Court, City and County of Los Angeles, State of California. In a moment, the results of that trial.
And now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you. The working detective knows that there is one mark of identification that never changes, a man's fingerprints. The suspect may change his appearance in many ways, but his fingerprints always remain the same, a mark of identity that cannot be changed. When you compare Fatima with other long cigarettes, the difference is quality, a mark of identity which never changes. And Fatima is extra mild. If you're a long cigarette smoker like I am, smoke Fatima. They cost the same, but in Fatima the difference is quality. Smoke Fatima.
Morris John Copley and Ralph Edward Tobin were tried and convicted of murder in the first degree, 2 counts. They were both sentenced to be executed in the lethal gas chamber of the state penitentiary, San Quentin, California. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department.
Fatima Cigarettes, the best of all long cigarettes, has brought you Dragnet, portions transcribed from Los Angeles.
Coming up, We the People. Tomorrow, enjoy The Life of Riley on NBC.
My name's Regan. I work for Anthony J. Lyon, International Detective Bureau. They call me the Lion's Eye.
Wednesday at 9, and CBS brings you Jeff Regan, Investigator, starring Frank Graham as Regan with Frank Nelson as Anthony J. Lyon. So stand by for mystery and suspense and adventure in tonight's story of The Lady Who Wanted to Live.
Trouble comes cheap in this town. There's one item that's always on the market. You don't even have to go shopping for it. Somebody knocks on your door or dials your number, and you've got all you can handle. I found that out when I met Amy Goodrich, a long, low blonde with lots of speed. One look at her, and you knew you'd been friends too long. We met last Friday afternoon. I'd been out of town 2 days looking for a guy who turned up in jail in Reno. I was home counting the lumps in my mattress, trying to catch up on some sleep, when the phone began jumping around on the hook. I thought it might be somebody with Rose Bowl tickets. I was wrong. It was the Lion. Hello?
Regan, is that you?
What do you want?
Oh, it's a beautiful afternoon. The sun's shining. There's a tang in the air. How'd you like to take a nice drive out to the beach?
The season's over.
Oh, but this is a new season. Fall, Regan. Light suntan, wild ocean. Doesn't it excite you?
I haven't had any sleep in 2 days.
I know. And I hate myself for disturbing you. I just hate myself.
Get to the point, Fatso.
Well, something very important's come up, Jeffrey. I wouldn't trust anybody but you to handle it. Besides, the sea air will do you good. Give you a lift.
This isn't Berlin. Say something.
Well, I want you to call on our new client. She's a nightclub singer. Has a beach cottage in Santa Monica, 18106 Coast Road. Her name's Amy Goodrich. You still there, Jeffrey?
Still here.
Up, my boy, to the colors, on the firing line.
Drop dead.
Oh, now that's not being a good soldier. Why, if I didn't know you,
I hung up, stuck my head under the pillow again, and waited for him to call back. He didn't. He was playing it coy. Well, I tossed around for another half hour. The mattress got worse, and then a fly started buzzing against the window shade. About that time, the blonde next door decided to leave her husband, and it got real noisy. So I rolled out of bed, threw on some clothes, and climbed in my car. I drove over to Sunset Boulevard and headed for Santa Monica. 18106 Coast Road turned out to be a bundle of flagstone and glass brick piled up against the ocean. Had a lot of angles, like a shyster lawyer. Figure whoever built it never heard of the FHA. Front door was open. Inside, a skinny little guy with a complexion like dried codfish was catching up on his music appreciation. His eyes swung around when I walked in. It looked like they'd been hurting him all his life. He turned the record player down, but those elevator shoes brought him up to my chin.
I'm listening to music. Whatever you're selling, we don't want any.
How do you know?
We never want anything. So long.
Amy around?
Who are you?
My name's Regan.
What do you want?
You her?
She's around. All right, she's out back on the patio, taking a sunbath. You didn't tell me what you want with her.
I don't. She wants me. Okay?
Okay, sure, okay. Why should you be any different?
Traffic problem, huh?
We need stoplights. Go right on through the dining room.
Just in case I want to write this up, who are you?
Felix. Felix Beethoven. Well?
I didn't say anything. When I saw her on the patio by the beach, I knew why Felix was hurting. Amy Goodrich was the kind of blonde they put on those resort hotel calendars in Las Vegas. No matter what month it was, she'd always start you looking around for spring. There wasn't enough material in her sunsuit to make a good pen wiper. And when she smiled at me, I began to feel warm inside, like a radio with a broken coil.
I know it's warm for this time of year, but you aren't wearing a sheepskin.
It wouldn't fit in this crowd.
You're from Mr. Lyon, aren't you?
How'd you know?
Well, he said he was sending me his best man. So, Mr. Regan, come over here and sit by me.
Sure, I won't crowd you.
Mm-mm.
Your party, lady.
I always drink scotch. How about you?
Maybe. Later.
Well, so you're the lion's eye, huh? Very nice.
Depends on how you look at it. I had to crawl out of bed to come over here.
Oh? You haven't been sick, I hope.
Well, when you work for the line, you just don't get much sleep.
Oh, I see. I thought you looked nice and strong.
I'll tell my tailor.
And quick, too. Look, you can relax, Regan. This job is going to be easy.
What is the job?
Protecting me.
If you're going to wear that all the time, I'd better send for reinforcements.
I think you'll be able to handle it. You'll do just fine.
If I know who I'm protecting you from.
Yes, I suppose you do have to know that. Have you ever heard of Tim Conover, Mr. Regan?
Yeah. He runs an upholstered cigar box downtown. Diamond Club.
He plays for keeps.
I've heard.
And apparently I interest him.
It figures.
I worked for him 2 years ago singing. He became very interested in me, but I turned him down.
Conover wouldn't like that.
He doesn't. He has another girlfriend now, a Helen Lesser. I thought she'd take his mind off me, but she hasn't.
You still saw?
He's been around half a dozen times this past week, casing the place. I think he's got some nasty ideas.
Like?
I don't know. But he might not be very gentle.
So, I hang around until he shows up, huh?
Mm-hmm. You protect me, Mr. Regan. I want you to stay real close to me.
I, could go to the Diamond Club, talk to him.
You could, but he doesn't impress easily. And, I'd still want you around.
I see. You don't want me to talk to him?
There'll be time for that later. But right now, let's you and I get acquainted.
Your boyfriend isn't going to like that.
Felix? He's only my arranger. He writes better if he's jealous.
He must turn out a couple of operas a day. He's got a bad ticker, hasn't he?
He's got a bad heart. But let's talk about us.
Conover, remember?
Oh, Regan, don't go. I hate to be alone.
I'll be back.
Why'd you stay for dinner? I'll send Felix out to a double feature or something.
I'm hired. I have to see Conover.
All right. Kiss me goodbye.
No thanks, lady. I gotta drive. But it figured Amy never read the vehicle code. I didn't mind when her arms went around me, but I could feel something else on the back of my neck. Eyes. Somewhere in that house, Felix was watching, and I knew he wouldn't like the kind of music we were making.
Hurry back, baby.
I could still feel him watching when I broke away and walked back through the house. He wasn't in the dining room, so I went through the archway to the living room. I didn't find him, but he found me. So the guy with the bad ticker, he was fast at his feet. He had a letter opener in his hand, but I didn't see the afternoon mail. I grabbed for him, he stood away. Then he came around again. This time I got my hand around his wrist. Drop it. Drop it. Take it easy. You got small bones. You're not built for rough work.
Leave her alone. Leave her alone, Regan. You leave her alone.
Felix got his idea across all right, but he had a one-track mind. I tried some questions, but got no answers. I figured Conover might do better, so I got in my car and drove back into town. It was just getting dark when I parked in Figueroa near Olympic, in front of the Diamond Club. Things were slow when I walked in. Too early for the jingle you spin crowd. When I asked for Conover, the bartender blinked a couple of wet stones at me.
In back, bud,
jerked his head toward the rear. I got as far as the shuffleboard table when a brunette eased out of the shadows. She wasn't wearing a coat, and it figured she was there to stay.
May I help you?
I'm looking for Tim Conover.
I'm expecting him. Come on in. Sit down, Mr.
Regan.
Oh, so you're Jeff Regan.
Ring a bell?
I've heard the name before. It fits you. You're a private investigator. Yes, of course. Tim's not in any trouble, is he?
Not yet.
What do you mean?
Maybe I better talk to him about it. Huh?
Well, if it's that important, I better find him. Make yourself at home, Mr. Regan. If you like scotch...
Thanks. I helped myself to that, waited around for about 10 minutes. The phone rang once, and I let it go. A guy in a blue suit stuck his head in the door, said something about getting the wrong room, backed out. I was just catching up on my music when the door opened. Through the mirror, I saw Conover. A gray suit with a bulge in the front of his coat.
There he is, Tim.
Thanks, baby.
I didn't know you played, Regan.
Hello, Conover.
I was having dinner. Helen tells me you've got something on your mind.
That's right. Do I unload it now? In front of her?
Why not? She's my baby.
This is about another baby of yours. Do I go on?
It's your show, Regan.
Amy Goodrich wants you to know she's got protection.
Oh? Well, all right, Regan. You did your job. You told me Amy's got protection. See you somewhere.
She wants to be left alone.
All right, she wants to be left alone. Anybody bothering her?
You are, according to her.
This guy's working in a weed field, Angel. I got over her a long time ago. I haven't seen her in 2 years.
I believe you, Tim.
All right, Regan. She believes me. This is where you get off.
Amy says she's seen you hanging around her place lately. Makes her nervous.
Wrong guy, Regan. You made a big mistake.
Sure. So did the guy who picked Michigan.
Look, I don't know what your pitch is, or Amy's, but I'm not buying any.
You may change your mind.
You know, you've been in business too long, taking too many rabbit punches. You ought to start taking care of yourself.
You ring, boss?
Yeah. Get rid of this bum.
They were a real pretty pair of muscles. One of them had a nose that looked like he'd been dipping it in an ink bottle all his life. The other one had an ear that could have passed for a golf ball. Well, they walked me out a door that opened onto an alley in back of the club. That's when the one with all the nose frisked me.
Hey, just in case, Patty, just in case.
Get your hands off me, punk.
Easy. We're just...
Gussie says take it easy.
Hey, look. State of California. Gun and all. This guy's a gumboots. Max.
What?
I don't like no gumboots. Gumboots worse than a bum.
You hear that, gumboots? Gussie says a gumboots is worse than a bum. You don't talk.
Gumboots, how tough are you? Still don't talk.
Hey, Gussie asked you, how tough you are, huh? Are you tough? Tough? Not so tough.
My turn. Hold him.
All right.
Now, Gumboots, here's what we get on answer.
Very nice, Gussie.
Thank you. Come on, Maxie. We'll be late for dinner.
Yeah, what about him?
Ain't you hurt? He don't feel like eating tonight.
I don't know how long I was away, but when I came back, I felt like I'd been sleeping on the wrong side of the world. I was still in that alley, and it was still dark. My head was rattling like it was full of broken glass. The yellow cat with an inferiority complex was sitting there looking at me. All over once, he started running.
Regan.
I didn't try to catch him.
Regan! Regan! Can you hear me? Wake up!
Yeah.
Have you been drinking?
Oh, shut up.
I send you out on a simple little job. I put all my faith and trust in you, and what do? Wind up in an alley drunk.
Get out of here.
Nuzzled up to a garbage pail, bleary-eyed, with melon seeds in your hair.
Stop
How
blowing
can you
steam, Fatso. You're not a locomotive.
do... Now, don't get so excited. You're getting seeds all over.
Give me a hand, will you?
Here.
How'd you get here?
Amy Goodrich called. She was getting worried about you. Said you went over to see Conover. She wanted me to stop you.
I figured you would. But she's too late. A couple of his boys played beanbag with my skull.
Well, who does Conover think he is, anyway, pushing my boy around? Just who does he think?
There's the door. Go in and ask him.
Well, now, I couldn't do that. Well, tell me, what's this all about?
That's what you're going to tell me.
But I don't know anything.
Amy Goodrich must have told you something when she hired me. If you're holding out on me...
But I'm not, Jeff.
Well, then start checking. Find out about Conover.
Conover? What do you want to know about?
Everything. Find out, for example, if there's anything Amy Goodrich could be blackmailing him with.
Blackmail? Regan, what is going on?
I told you I don't know.
Well, then make a guess.
Okay. It looks like everyone's in love with Amy. I left the lion standing there. He looked worried, like an elephant with a skin rash. None of it made sense. I knew I'd have to get some answers before long. I drove over to my place and straightened myself out with a shower and some Johnny Walker. Half hour later, I was back out in Santa Monica. The fog was closing in over the house when I rang the bell. Nobody answered. But somewhere in the back there was a light, so I walked around in the sand. The patio was empty. Inside, Amy was sitting on a zebra-striped couch. She was wearing a white strapless thing with a splash of red in one shoulder. She had a movie magazine in one hand and a drink in the other. But she wasn't having a very good time. She was dead.
This is CBS, and you are listening to The Story of the Lady Who Wanted to Live. Tonight's adventure with Jeff Regan, Investigator.
Well, the lion wasn't going to like it. His client, Amy Goodrich, was dead, and she wasn't in the market for protection anymore. I looked around for a gun, but didn't find it. Then I picked up the phone and put in a call to homicide. But I never talked to them. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Felix standing out on the patio. And he saw me. I hit the floor and pulled her ass with me. Even after the gun was empty, he stood there pulling the trigger. Then he threw it down and began running toward the ocean. I went after him.
Hold still. Hold still. Now let me go.
You'll drown.
No, I don't care. I loved her, Regan. I couldn't stand it anymore. I couldn't stand it anymore, so I killed her. It doesn't make sense, does it?
Sure it does. But you're not going to kill yourself.
Oh, the police.
What about him?
I phoned them. I told them everything.
When?
Just before you came.
Come on.
But they'll be here. Let's go.
Yeah, that's why I said come on. I dragged him out of the surf and got him into my car. He kept mumbling all the way into town. It was 2 minutes after 10 when we got to my apartment. 3 phone calls turned up the lion in a Turkish bath. He kicked, but when I told him what happened, he said he'd come right away. 20 minutes later, he walked in. He still had a towel wrapped around his head. He looked like Sitting Bull in an Easter bonnet.
Where is he, Regan? Where is he?
In there, asleep.
Asleep? Just like that, he can drop off to sleep after what he's done?
I gave him some pills.
What about homicide?
You already called him.
But they'll be looking for him down at the beach. We've got to stay clean, Regan. I'm going to phone homicide.
Pick up that phone and I'll ram it so far down your throat you'll get a busy signal out of your hip pocket.
This is murder. What's gotten into you?
You're not going to toss Felix to the wolves.
Regan, you'll find the girl dead. Felix has the gun. He admits killing her. What are you saving him for? What are you going to do with him? Stuff him and put him on your mantle?
He's a fall guy, a patsy. He didn't do it.
He didn't kill her?
He was carrying this gun. He took 6 shots at me tonight. That's all it holds. There's 1 bullet in her, and he didn't have any extra slugs. Now, what did you find out about Tim Conover?
Oh, he's clean, Regan. Absolutely clean. Unless you want to count a court-martial. He celebrated V.E. Day by poking a major in the chops.
What else?
He kicked him, too.
All right.
Hey, where you going?
Out. Look, you stay here and keep Felix company.
Oh, of course, Regan. I'll do that. Run along. You needn't worry. I'll watch over Felix like a father.
You'd better.
But the cops will be here. It won't take them more than an hour or 2 to find him.
Yeah, and I've got just that long to find out who really killed Amy Goodrich.
All right. I suppose I'll have to go along. After all, we're working hand in hand in this thing.
In that case, I'll hide my ring. I didn't like the idea of leaving the lion there with Felix, but there was nothing else I could do. Besides, I still had to do business with a guy named Conover. I was just getting into my car when I felt a gun in my back. And right away, I knew Conover had business with me.
All right, Regan. We got things to talk over. Now just keep walking straight ahead, the black sedan. Now, Regan, you sit in front with Helen. I'll take the back seat. Okay, Helen.
Where to, Tim?
Nowhere. Regan and me can do our talking right here. It's quiet.
Tim, are you sure you're doing right?
Please, let me handle this, baby. All right, Regan, what's the play? I know Amy's dead. Now, let's just take it from there.
Who told you?
I was there tonight.
Tim, you shouldn't. He'll involve you. He'll tell the police.
I said I'll handle this, baby.
So you were there. I know, don't tell me. She was already dead when you showed up.
No, not quite. All I got out of her was the name of some guy, Dolan, and something about Lake Tahoe. She seemed to think I know what it was about.
And you didn't?
No. Kind of figured you'd tell me.
All right. Blackmail.
Amy? Blackmailing me? You didn't know her very well, did you, Regan?
She said she needed protection. I think she wanted a strong-arm boy.
No, it doesn't fit. She was no good, but not blackmail. It doesn't fit at all.
Maybe I can make it fit.
Don't try. I'm not going to be tagged for this thing, Regan. You know some answers. Maybe you better start talking right now. I said start talking.
I didn't know if Conover was just looking for information or if he wanted to find out how much I knew about a guy named Dolan in Lake Tahoe. Well, I had a 50-50 chance. I could get the butt of that gun across my face, or I could try walking away and take a chance of getting a bullet in my back. And then I saw an old coupe, Oklahoma license, limping along the other side of the street. I opened the door, stepped out onto the sidewalk. I kept on going into the middle of the street. Conover yelled, but he didn't fire. And then the coupe slammed on the brakes.
What's the matter with you, Pilgrim? You want to get yourself bashed up standing out in the middle of the street? Want to get yourself all bashed up?
They ran out of gas.
Join an auto club. Pay your dues.
There's no phone. Could you give me a lift?
I wasn't going anyhow. Well, climb in. Do it the bowling alley. Hey, what are them two going to do? Sit there and nick?
I didn't answer that. When we pulled away, Conover was just sitting there staring. But there was nothing to stare at. Helen was different. She registered one look. Fear. 15 minutes later, the Oklahoma license dropped me off at Vermont and Franklin, where I got a cab. All the way downtown, I kept wondering about Conover's play. He could have stopped me, but he didn't. That could mean he hadn't shot Amy. It could also mean he had shot her, but he knew about Felix confessing over the phone to the police. At the Examiner morgue, I found Ned Fuller looking at a girly magazine. I told him what I wanted, and 10 minutes later, he spread out a file dated May 9th, 1945.
Is this it? Wealthy playboy shot to death. Willard J. Dolan, San Francisco socialite, found dead at Lake Tahoe cabin.
That's it.
Oh, well, they never did solve it. There's some stuff here about a mystery
I can
woman.
read.
They think she might have done it. Somebody seen her come out of the cabin that night. She's tall, blonde.
First name, Amy.
No, they never found out who she was.
Somebody did.
Oh, well, there was witnesses. Yeah, let's see here. Mr. and Mrs. Franklin James, San Diego people. They saw the dame come out, but they couldn't give a good description of her.
Want a bet?
A bet? Sure, I'll take Notre Dame. Who'll you take?
I'll take a guy named Tim Conover.
Regan.
Hello, Conover. You're staying up late tonight.
You work awfully hard for a buck soldier.
That's for what your boys did to me out in an alley.
I wonder what makes a guy walk into trouble 3 times in one day. You got a lot of nerve, Regan, but you use it in the wrong places.
I'm just getting started.
All right, make your play. What's next?
You talk.
What about...
Dolan, Willard J.
I told you.
Lake Tahoe, May 9th, 1945. Talk, Conover. All right, then I'll talk. A tall blonde named Amy Goodrich. An unsolved murder at Lake Tahoe. But there was a witness. When I first came over here, I guess she was blackmailing you. I was wrong. You were blackmailing her.
You stink, Regan. I told you wouldn't tag me for this.
Well, you're wrong.
No, he isn't, Mr. Regan.
Oh, so that's it.
Thanks, Helen. Give me the gun. I'll run things from now on. I don't know what you get out of this, Regan, but you got your engine switched.
Look, a mixed-up guy named Felix Beethoven actually thinks he killed Amy, and he didn't. I've got him on ice, but the cops will get him, and when they do, he's on his way to the gas chamber.
Oh, Tim, please, let's get out of here. Let's not listen.
Wait a minute, baby, wait. So I was blackmailing Amy. I had a good thing, but I shot her. And I was the mystery witness at Lake Tahoe. I thought you were a better gumshoe than that, Regan.
What does that mean?
The date was May 9th, 1945. You mean you haven't looked me up?
All of a sudden, it hit me. Something the lion had said about VE Day and a major who got hit in the chops. And the whole thing came apart at the seams. Conover couldn't have been the witness. He was in a guardhouse in Germany. I began to feel helpless, like a glassblower with hiccups. For the first time in my life, I really wanted to talk to the lion. I looked at the gun in Conover's hand, then I reached for the phone and dialed. Slow. He didn't stop me.
Anthony J. Lyons.
Lion, the cops.
Oh, Regan. They're not here yet.
Felix?
Still asleep.
Well, get him out of there.
Regan, I can't do then?
Get him out of there. We broke our pick.
What?
I've been working the wrong angle. We got to have more time.
Well, I can't get him out of here now. We'll be seen. You must have something.
I have. A guy named Willard Dolan was killed at Lake Tahoe. A Mr. and Mrs. Franklin James were the witnesses. But Conover isn't...
Regan.
Hold it. Yeah?
That name.
Mr. and Mrs. Franklin James?
Hang up. Regan, what's going on? Hang up. Jeffrey, are you... Helen's got something to tell you.
Oh, Tim, please.
Go ahead. Go ahead, baby. Tell him.
Tim.
Wait a minute. Mrs. Franklin James.
Yeah, Mrs. Franklin James.
All right. I was Mrs. Franklin James. I was a witness. I did blackmail Amy.
And you figured me to be the fall guy. You've hung around just so you could use me if the heat ever came on.
No, I swear, Tim. I love you. I never meant to get you involved. But I used a piece of your stationery once. Amy had a trace.
So she figured it was Conover all the time.
Yes. Oh, I went crazy trying to cover it up. Because I love you, Tim. I love you. I couldn't let anything happen to you.
No, but you set me up for a murder rap.
No, I wasn't. I was trying to protect you. Don't you see Amy was going to kill you, Tim?
She was going to kill me.
Yes. Oh, she wanted Regan Powers to set up that story about your threatening her. And then she could claim self-defense.
But it didn't work that way.
No. You came around. I couldn't let Tim find out. I couldn't let anybody find out.
You killed her, didn't you?
Yes, I killed her. For you, Tim. I killed her for you. We can get away, darling. Regan's the only one who knows.
Sure, and the kid with the bum ticket takes the rap. Except that somebody might ask questions about what happened to me.
We'll have to take that chance, Tim. Regan's the only one who can make trouble for us.
Us, baby?
What?
I don't have any troubles. You have.
Oh, Tim. You're joking. Listen to me.
You're wasting your time.
Tim. You won't help me?
No.
You won't help me?
No.
But if you let them arrest me, I'll die. They'll convict me. Oh, please, you have the gun, Tim. You can save me. I don't want to die. I love you. I want to live. I don't want to go.
All right, Regan. You better get her out of here.
Tim!
Regan, I said get her out of here.
Well, that's the way it wound up. Helen went to headquarters. Tim went back to his club. I went out of town for a few days. When I got back, I drifted into the office. The Lion gave me the wind-up. A report on Felix.
Yes, Regan. Those doctors worked on Felix Beethoven 3 days. Psychiatric medicine's a profound study. Profound. They finally convinced him he didn't kill Amy.
Yeah.
That's sad. He loved that woman as cruel as she was to him. He loved her a great deal. I suppose life will be lonely for him now that she's gone.
You're wrong.
What do you mean?
I saw him in Hollywood today. He's got a new friend, one with red hair.
You mean to tell me he's willing to do it again? To accept abuse from another woman? Why, that man's a natural for any woman's dominance.
He hasn't got a thing to worry about.
But you said she was a redhead, and I know redheads.
Yeah, but Felix is bigger than this one. Besides, the new one's a Cocker Spaniel.
Jeff Regan, Investigator, was written by E. Jack Newman and Adrian Jandot, directed by Sterling Tracy. Frank Graham is starred as Regan, with Frank Nelson as Anthony J. Lyon. Original music is by Dick Arant. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
In Colorado Springs, Colorado, a group of men are gathered together for their annual conference. For their day-in, day-out service to the public, Dragnet honors the 57th annual conference of the International Association of Chiefs of Police. The story you're about to hear is true. Only the names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Fatima Cigarettes, best of all long cigarettes, brings you Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to burglary detail. A man posing as a doctor is burglarizing homes in your city. You have his description. Your job, find him.
Oh, no.
Ah, that's different.
Yes, what a difference.
In Fatima, the difference is quality.
You see, Fatima is the quality king-size cigarette because it contains the finest Turkish and domestic tobaccos superbly blended. And Fatima is extra mild with a much different, much better flavor and aroma than any other long cigarette. Because of its quality, its extra mildness, its better flavor and aroma, Fatima has more than doubled its smokers coast to coast.
Fatimas cost the same as other long cigarettes, but your first puff will tell you...
Ah, that's different.
Yes, in Fatima, the difference is quality. Ask your dealer for Fatima, the quality king-size cigarette. Best of all, long cigarettes. Start enjoying Fatima tomorrow.
Dragnet, the documented story of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Sunday, November 22nd. It was chilly in Los Angeles. We were working a day watch out of burglary detail. My partner's Ben Romero. The boss is Thad Brown, chief of detectives. My name's Faggot. It was 9:35 a.m. when we got to 5918 Canyon Cove, the home of Marla Hutchins.
Yes,
Miss Marla Hutchins?
I'm Miss Marla Hutchins.
Well, we're police officers, ma'am. This is Sergeant Romero. I'm Sergeant Friday, Central Burglary.
Come in.
Thank you.
Betty told me she called you.
Your name?
Yes, I'm Betty Drake. I called you.
And if you could tell us what happened, please.
Dr. Arthur Schulte was treating me for headaches I have. He took my mink coats and my jewelry.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a list of what's missing?
Betty will have a list of what's missing.
Here, I've written down everything I think's gone.
Thank you.
Well, why do you say it was this Dr. Schulte? Is that right?
Yes.
Why do you say it was him that took things, Miss Hutchins?
He did it. I know he did it.
The doctor was the only other person in the apartment, officer.
When was this?
Last night.
What time was the doctor here last night?
It was about 8. I heard him leave later, about 9:15.
Is that right, Miss Hutchins?
Yes, that's right.
Well, could the apartment have been entered without either one of you knowing it?
No, sir. The back entrance is double latched, and no one could have broken in the front way. My room's right beside the front door, and I would have heard.
You told us on the phone that this Dr. Schulte was middle-aged, dark, close to 5'11", stocky, wears a goatee.
Yes.
No other distinguishing features. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
How about his clothes, the way he was dressed?
He was about average. He had on a gray suit the last time we saw him.
Thank you.
You know who he is?
We'll find out.
What kind of treatment were you taking from Dr. Schulte, Miss Hutchins?
We call it hypnotherapy for my headaches.
Mm-hmm. Last night, same thing?
Yes.
Or anything different from his previous visits?
I was very nervous. He made me take 3 sleeping capsules, and I went to sleep.
And she was still sleeping this morning when I went in and found everything in the dressing table all over the floor.
I see. Have you known this Dr. Schulte long, Miss Hutchins?
About 4 months.
Did you meet him at a party, maybe?
No, I was a student of his.
Where was this?
At a small college in Hollywood. He was the head of the school. He was a teacher, too.
Do you have the name and address of the college?
Betty can give it to you. It's in my desk.
Are you still a student there?
No. I don't take the course. I stopped.
Mm-hmm.
College was closed. That's when he came here to treat me for my headaches.
How did he start giving you these treatments, Miss Hutchins?
One day in his lecture, I fainted. Took me to his office and told me that pain was only a state of mind. State of mind.
Yes, ma'am.
My headache didn't bother me anymore. He said that relief would only be temporary if I didn't take regular treatment.
Well, did you see him regularly?
I saw him twice a week. Twice a week.
Always here?
At the college, then it closed. I don't know why. He telephoned and said he would continue here.
Well, where did you get in touch with him when the college closed?
I never did. He always called here.
Do you have any idea where he is now?
No, I just know that he's a thief.
Yes, ma'am.
Why don't you lie down, Miss Hutchins? You look tired.
All right.
Thank you, Miss Hutchins.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much.
All right.
Would you gentlemen like some coffee?
Oh, Ben?
I could sure use some.
It would be very nice, miss. Thank you.
Officer,
Yes, ma'am.
if this man's just a common thief, the treatments he's been giving Miss Hutchins couldn't have been very good, could they?
She's still got the headaches, hasn't she? 11:50 a.m. We checked the apartment for physical evidence. There was nothing to indicate that the place had been broken into. We put in a call to Latent Fingerprints to send a man out to check the closet and dresser. We completed the crime report, and Betty Gregg, the maid, gave us the name and address of Dr. Schulte's college, the Los Angeles College of Psychotherapeutics and Psychiatry at a Franklin Street number in Hollywood. Ben and I got out a teletype to Sacramento asking information on the chartering of the school that Dr. Schulte was supposed to have headed. We checked on Betty Gregg, the maid, and found that she was a Los Angeles girl, parents still living in the city. She had a good reputation. 2:35 p.m., we went to the address where the college had been. It was a big brown clapboard house with several dormer windows facing the street. It was vacant. The front door was boarded up. A rental agency sign was stuck up on one of the pillars on the front porch.
Joe. What room there? Must have been where they had classes. Rows of chairs nailed down, you see?
Yeah, let me look. Yeah. I don't see any papers inside. No mail.
Hi.
Yeah.
My name's Tom Thompson. You interested in the place?
You the agent?
No, I just live next door. I'm a dry cleaner myself, but I sort of promised the real estate agent I'd keep an eye peeled, see if I could be of help in getting on Chapel.
Police officers. We're just checking.
Oh, was there something wrong? Somebody break in?
Did you live next door when this was a school here?
Yeah, that psychology bunch there. Here about, 10 months, maybe less. I always thought it was kind of a shoestring operation.
How do you mean?
Oh, not much dough. They're just making ends meet. No class,
Always just adults?
Well, classes used to be mostly during the day I was at work. The wife used to tell me. No kids at cheer or so.
Did you know the man that ran the school?
No, but he was a middle-aged guy with a kind of a pointed beard. Had a pal, though, a younger guy. Never stopped to talk. They're pretty tight-mouthed guys, like I said. Why, what'd they do?
Routine investigation, Mr. Thompson.
Do you have any idea where they might be contacted now?
No. The real estate agent said they skipped without paying last month's rent for him. He's been trying to find them.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember their names?
Well, let's see. Wait a minute. The older guy, the guy with the beard, was named Schultz or something like that. I can't remember the young fellow, though, but... Hey, wait a minute. I got their door.
How's that?
I got their door. The agent let me have the front door. I'm building a patio porch in the back of my house, and the glass that I took out of the door's got the names lettered on it.
Well, that's fine.
Come on. I'll see if I still got it in the garage. It's right around here.
Okay.
A little chilly today, huh?
Yeah, a little.
Want to stand back there and hit you an open?
Watch the door, Ben.
Yeah. Here we go. I like to keep a nice, neat garage.
Sure looks nice.
Oh, thanks.
Say, did these men live in the house, Mr. Thompson, or did they just use it for the school, do you know?
Oh, best I know, just for classes. Like I say, they're pretty tight-lipped guys. Not very friendly. They're real quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, here it is. I got it.
Just leave it right there. We'll come over there. You want us to move it? Let's see. Los Angeles College of Psychotherapeutics and Psychiatry. Dr. Arthur William Schulte.
Schulte.
DAA, PhD, SCD.
Well, close to Schulte.
Dr. Leo George Donaldson. DV, PhD, SCD.
Mm-hmm. I got it, Joe.
Okay, fine. We're much obliged, Mr. Thompson. Here's our card. If you hear anything regarding these men, we'd appreciate you calling us.
Oh, sure. I'll be glad to. Wait a minute. Here. Here's my card. Ideal Cleaners over in Ivar. If you get around that way, why, drop some stuff off. I'll see it gets special attention.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Thompson.
No, it's okay. Sure glad I didn't throw that glass away. Brother, look at all the letters after the names, eh? Wonder what it takes to get a lineup of degrees like that.
Paintbrush in about 10 minutes. 5 p.m. Ben and I drove back to the office. There was a report from Latent Fingerprints. Nothing but the prints of the two girls had been found in the Hutchins apartment. We checked what information we had on Schulte and Donaldson through to the FBI on the teletype. A check of doctors registered with the Los Angeles County Medical Association and the American Psychiatric Association failed to turn up anybody named Dr. Schulte. We had our I Bureau and Stats Office make runs on Leo Donaldson and Schulte and a rundown on the reports where the burglar had posed as a psychologist. The Stats Office turned up a couple of dozen new suspects. We pulled the mug shots and headed for the Hutchins apartment.
Looks like something doing at the Hutchins apartment house.
A lot of cruiser cars, huh?
Let's have a look.
Sorry, can't go in.
Sergeant Friday Romero, Central Burglary.
Oh, sure, Sergeant.
What's the trouble?
Girl named Hutchins shot herself.
You are listening to Dragnet, authentic stories of your police force in action. Oh, no.
Ah, that's different.
Yes, what a difference.
There's a difference you can hear, there's a difference you can see, but the difference in Fatima is quality.
Yes, friends, when you compare long cigarettes, you'll find that in Fatima, the difference is quality. Quality of tobaccos. The finest Turkish and domestic varieties, extra mild and superbly blended, to give you a much different, much better flavor and aroma than any other long cigarette.
Quality of manufacture. Smooth, plump cigarettes rolled in the finest paper money can buy.
Quality even to the appearance of the bright, clean yellow package. Carefully wrapped and sealed to bring you Fatima's rich, fresh, extra mild flavor.
Fatima's cost the same as other long cigarettes, but your first puff will tell you...
Ah, that's different.
Yes, in Fatima, the difference is quality. Ask your dealer for Fatima, the quality king-size cigarette. Best of all, long cigarettes. Start enjoying Fatima tomorrow.
Monday, November 23rd. During the morning, the coroner's office signed off Marla Hutchins' case. The verdict was that she had taken her own life. The police psychiatrist told us that probably the hypnotic treatments by Schulte had hastened her death. The information we'd received from the Medical Association told us that they had had complaints against the operation of the Schulte school. They had pointed out to us that it takes over 12 years in recognized medical schools to become a member of the American Psychiatric Association. Schulte had been mass-producing pseudo-psychiatrists in 8 weeks. 1:40 p.m., we met with Captain Fulton.
School was a phony. Degrees and diplomas sold anybody who had cash. Huh?
Yeah.
They're not operating anymore?
We checked that out. They're gone.
Well, here's the answer to your teletype to Sacramento.
Thank you.
Gives details on the application for the school of Schulte. He's listed as founder and dean. Donaldson is listed as staff. No addresses other than the Franklin Street number there.
Mm-hmm. Anything else?
A month ago, Leo Donaldson opened courses of instruction in Los Angeles under the title California Physicians College of Psychiatry, 781 South Hill Street.
Schulte associated with him?
No. Have any idea where Schulte is?
No, we don't, but we're looking. We've got the support of the medical people to push a bunco charge for the operation of the old school.
Donaldson should be able to give you a lead on Schulte.
Figures they might be in contact. Looks like they actually ran the school together, even though Schulte was legally responsible.
And Ben and I have an idea on how maybe we can find out.
How's that?
We thought one of us could make a pitch to Donaldson, see if he'd sell a degree from the new school. Get evidence to support a bunco warrant and check at the same time to see if Donaldson has contact with Schulte.
Well, I'll let bunco detail know we're trying. You think you can do it?
I can try.
You know anything else about Donaldson's courses?
No, that doesn't bother me.
How come?
Neither does Donaldson. In trying to get Schulte through his former associate, Leo Donaldson, we again contacted the Medical Association. They furnished us with the name of Ralph Morse, a graduate of the Franklin Street School, who had since been killed in an auto accident. Tuesday, 11:30 a.m., Ben and I get to 781 South Hill Street, a 7-story office building in the heart of the Los Angeles business district. The directory in the lobby listed the California Physicians College of Psychiatry for rooms 214 and 216. Ben waited outside in the car. I took the elevator up. Dr. Donaldson?
I'm Dr. Leo Donaldson. May I be of assistance?
Well, my name is Frank Ditton. I wanted to ask about the curriculum here.
Well, we've just opened, Mr. Ditton. We're not quite ready to start classes. You understand this is very advanced instruction. Most of our students will have had considerable background in psychiatry.
Oh. Well, a friend of mine, Dr. Morse, said that he was sure I'd be a good student for you.
Dr. Morse?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure I place him.
Well, he was one of your students at the Franklin Street School. Said that Dr. Schulte knew him quite well.
Oh, yes, I remember. Brilliant man. How's he getting along?
He was killed in a car collision.
Oh, that's too bad.
Well, frankly, what I was interested in is being able to take over his practice. Could I get the same deal he got?
I think so, Mr. Ditton. What'd you have in mind?
Well, take some courses and get a degree. I worked with Morse for a while. I can set up a clinic. He did okay. I figure maybe I can, too.
Well, here's a list of the courses we'll offer.
Thank you.
We'll go over it together, and you can indicate what sphere of study you'd like to take.
Mm-hmm. Does Dr. Schulte teach any of these courses?
No, he doesn't. Now, the first semester will include painless and drugless childbirth, practical and applied psychology, autosuggestion, prenatal suggestion.
Yeah. Well, look, Dr. Donaldson, straight practical and applied psychology is the specialty that I want.
See?
What degree do I get and how much will it cost?
Well, the least expensive is a doctor of psychotherapy at $450. A doctorate of philosophy and psychology is $500.
Mm-hmm.
For all purposes, if you can afford it, Mr. Ditton, is a doctorate of science. That's $800.
Oh.
That course was $1,000 at the Franklin Street School.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. That's a lot of money. I guess I have to have it, though. I wonder if you'd take a check now.
Certainly. You understand what a tremendous advantage these degrees are to the professional man who, for one reason or another, may never have had a chance to get a college diploma.
Mm-hmm. Well, the course is very hard?
You look like an intelligent man, Mr. Ditton. I'm sure you'd have no difficulty.
All right. Well, say, look, Doctor, I live out in Van Nuys now, and I'm working 3 days a week at the present time. It's going to be pretty tough to get downtown here. Do I have to be here every day?
Since it's the diplomas most of our students are interested in, we have, on occasion, made exceptions in cases like yours.
Well, I'd appreciate that.
We could possibly, in the case of a doctorate of science, present you with your diploma in advance of you taking the course, and you could launch into private practice at once and take the course whenever it suited you.
Well, couldn't ask for a better deal.
Everything's mentioned in this catalog. The forms are in the back. Why don't you sit down right there?
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah. Rules and regulations. No books are required of students. Well, that's a break, huh?
We lecture a little differently from some colleges, and therefore we've dispensed with texts because we feel they tend to confuse the data.
Mm-hmm. When I take the course, who will be my instructor?
I will.
Well, Morse talked a lot about Dr. Schulte. Did he teach any of the classes?
No, Dr. Schulte was associated with me in the operation of the Franklin Street School, but is not the staff member of the California Physicians College of Psychiatry.
Well, I'm just wondering, if I paid extra, could I get some classes with him? Morse said that he picked up a lot of useful information from Schulte. He's a fellow with a goatee, isn't he?
Yes, that's right. Well, truthfully, I have no idea where Dr. Schulte is presently located.
I understand. Now, let's, one regulation here.
Yes?
No student will be admitted who cannot show documentary proof of the successful completion of secondary school work.
High school. You can understand that, can't you, Mr. Ditton?
How do you mean?
Well, there are certain minimum academic standards we must observe.
Yeah.
In order to maintain the quality of our degree.
Dr. Donaldson accepted my check to the amount of $800. I asked for a receipt, and he filled out a blank doctorate of science degree, which he carefully lettered with the name Frank Ditton, and signed himself as dean. I arrested Donaldson, and Ben and I took him in for booking. 1 p.m. We received a long teletype from Washington. Arthur Schulte had a record of arrests and convictions back east. It started with a conviction 16 years ago for the interstate transportation of pornographic motion pictures. The record gave us no known addresses, but important in the information was the fact that Schulte had originally been trained and had worked at being a projectionist in movie theaters. In the M.O. was the notation that he'd been known to take up his old occupation when sought by authorities. 1:35 p.m., we contacted the local office of the Motion Picture Projectionists Union, where they told us that they had placed an Arthur Schulte in the booth of one of the Main Street newsreel houses on Sunday. That was the day before. 2:30 p.m. The Crescent Theater was buried between two bars and advertised an hour of newsreels and short subjects for 20 cents.
Where's the manager?
I'm him. Can we talk to you a minute, police officers?
What?
I say we're police officers. We'd like to talk to you.
Nobody here to take over. Why don't you come in and I can open the booth door here and talk?
Okay. Right around the back, I guess, here, Ben. Where is it? Hey, mister.
Okay. What's the trouble, officer?
You have a man by the name of Schulte working here?
That's right. Projectionist isn't working right this minute, though. Comes on duty at 4. It's an hour.
All right. I wonder if you'd take a look at this description, please. There you are.
5'11".
Man working here's clean shaven, no goatee. Outside that sounds the same.
Mm-hmm.
Any idea where he lives? No, I don't.
Well, we'll have to wait for him here.
All right. Wait a minute. Just one? Where you want to wait? Inside?
Well, I think we'd rather stay up in the projection booth if it's all right.
Up the steel stairs there on the right. Tell Pete Eichen. He's the man up there now. I said it was okay.
All right, don't say anything to him when he gets here, will you, sir?
I won't, officer.
Come on, Ben. It's this way. It's a long climb, huh?
Yeah, it is. It's right up there.
Oh, yeah.
Must be it.
Hey, mister! Mister!
Yeah?
Police officers.
Anything wrong?
We're going to have to wait here. The manager said it was okay.
Wait for what?
We want to talk to your relief man.
You mean the doc?
You know him?
Well, just since yesterday.
Why do you call him the doc?
Oh, you know, speaks kind of fancy for a projectionist. What do you do?
Oh, we just like to talk to him.
Okay, you know the guy doesn't come on for about an hour.
Yeah, they told us.
You want to look at the picture? You can both sit by the observation port on the film stage there. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, sit over here, Ben. Is this all right here?
Yeah, that's fine.
Huh. Well,
what's the matter?
I've seen this newsreel.
5:45 p.m. Schulte was nearly 2 hours late. Ben and I were worrying about whether somehow he'd been tipped.
Usual for a man to be this late for a shift.
Not in a house like this. Bigger house would be different. Way it is with a doc being late like this just cost the boss a couple of bucks.
How do you mean?
I got more dough. I'm over my maximum hours. If the old guy'd stay away long enough, I'd be on Golden.
Golden? What's that?
Yeah, double and a half time. Boys in the business call it golden time.
Oh.
Most dough you can get is double golden. You get that working over maximum number of hours after midnight on a Sunday.
Uh-huh.
That's double golden. Never happened to me, though.
How do you stand?
What do you mean, the money?
The noise.
You get used to it. Don't pay any attention after a while.
Don't you get tired of hearing the same soundtrack over and over?
No, you just know it's there. It never registers. What they're saying, I mean. Just if it stops when it shouldn't. Get used to it over the years.
You've been doing this long?
11.
It's a long time.
Excuse me. I gotta make a switch over.
What'd you say?
I said I gotta make a switch over.
I've been watching you do that all afternoon. How do you know when to turn the other projector on?
Marks on the film, up in the right corner on the screen, usually a black dot. Look through the window.
Look, Ben, right here.
Mm-hmm. The first dot tells me to start the other projector. When the second dot hits, I cut this one, turn on the other one. Now watch.
Okay.
See the first one?
Uh-huh.
Now the second dot, see?
Uh-huh.
Smooth. You never know the difference.
Simple stuff. People never seem to notice the switches. Just a minute. Hi, Doc. A little late. Sorry, overslept.
Your name, Schulte?
That's right.
Police officers would like to talk to you.
I have to go to work.
It'll wait.
You want to go downstairs?
All right.
This way. All right, this will be fine right here. You say your name is Schulte, Arthur William Schulte?
That's correct. Ever been known by any other name? Why?
Do you operate a school called the Los Angeles College of Psychotherapeutics and Psychiatry during the past year?
I'm not saying anything. Where are you living, mister? I'm not saying anything.
Let me see your identification.
Here, my wallet.
All right.
No, you hold it. Say, open that part there. I take out the card. Union card. We'll take it stub. Social Security card.
That second thing there behind the cash. Yeah. Let's try that folded piece of paper there.
It's just a bill. Mm-hmm. What is it, Jim?
It's a bill. Milliken Hotel. Let's go. We drove to the Milliken Hotel, about 6 blocks from the theater in the same Skid Row district. We got the key from the room clerk and went up to Schulte's room. It looked like any dingy hotel room. A small footlocker sat at the end of the bed on the baggage stand. 2 suitcases were over by the closet, and sitting on the floor alongside the bureau were 2 waist-high stacks of books.
You got the key to the small trunk?
I don't have to submit to this.
Let's open it up.
Open it yourself. Here's the key.
All right. Two mink coats.
I'll check the rest of the room, Joe.
All right. This your property, Doctor?
I'm not saying anything.
Just clothes, regular stuff in the bureau.
Mm-hmm. How about those suitcases over there? What do you got?
How about this?
Cigar box. It's taped shut. What's inside, Doctor?
Nothing you'd be interested in.
I'll open it, Joe.
Schulte? Bracelets, rings, matched earrings. Fit our stolen property reports.
These were gifts.
People say you took them.
They're sick. I've done them a lot of good. They know. They thank me this way.
Well,
people I get these things from, they know I've helped them.
Will you help Marla Hutchins?
The story you have just heard was true. Only the names were changed to protect the innocent.
Arthur Schulte, free on bail pending trial, died of natural causes on June 15th in Fresno, California. Leo Donaldson was tried and convicted of grand theft and served a term prescribed by law in the state penitentiary.
And now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you. When the rookie policeman becomes a full-fledged member of the department, one of the first things he becomes aware of is the time-worn tradition of the peace officer. He has pride in the men he works with, pride in his job. The men who make Fatima take great pride in their job. They, too, uphold a tradition. The Fatima tradition of quality. You see, Fatima contains the finest Turkish and domestic tobaccos superbly blended. And pack after pack, they're extra mild. If you're a long cigarette smoker like I am, and have not yet enjoyed Fatima, buy a pack tomorrow. Compare Fatima with other long cigarettes. You'll find they cost the same, but in Fatima, the difference is quality. Smoke Fatima.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Chief of Police of the City of Los Angeles, W.H. Parker.
The Los Angeles Police Department awards this citation of merit to Dragnet for its authentic portrayal of cases from the files of this department, bringing great credit to the Los Angeles Police Department and its officers, and enhancing the prestige of law enforcement generally among its millions of listeners.
Thank you, Chief Parker.
You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department.
Next, We the People. 3 chimes mean good times on NBC.
Ladies and gentlemen, the American Broadcasting Company brings to its entire network one of radio's most unusual programs, Pat Novak for Hire.
Sure, I'm Pat Novak for hire. That's what the sign out in front of my office says. Pat Novak for hire. If you're trying to make a living down on the waterfront in San Francisco, you got to run things like a smorgasbord. You take a little of everything you can get your hands on. Even then, it's a bumpy ride, because down here, everybody tries to pad his part. Oh, I rent boats and do anything else good men pay bad men to do. You don't get many gold stars that way, but you pay the bar bill, and it's about as safe as a closet full of tigers. The only way you can make friends down on the waterfront is to die. I found that out Tuesday night. I went to the wrestling matches and watched Gorgeous George throw some guy around like a poker chip in Tijuana. I was in the middle of the crowd on my way out of the place when this guy stepped up behind me and started talking.
You got company, Novak.
Huh?
I said you got company. On both sides.
No. Did your friend get his face at a fire sale, too?
Can't all be pretty. Keep walking, Novak.
Is the gun in my back supposed to help?
That's up to you. Straight ahead and out the side door.
You got the right growl, but the wrong guy, mister.
You keep working your mouth, but nothing comes out. All right, this way.
What are your plans? Shall we take the kids?
The car right down here.
Now, look, big shot. In a drugstore, I get all the mystery I want for 2 bits.
You want things explained?
Yeah, besides Shovelhead here, I don't understand a thing.
We just want Joe Denine.
I never heard of him either.
We just want Joe Denine.
All right, you can have him. You're welcome. See his wife. See anybody you like. I don't even know the guy.
You're full of talk. As soon as you want to make it the right kind, you can go home. Here we are, into the back seat. You drive, Eddie.
You boys run on. I'll grab a cab.
Get in! You're not going to take a boat. That's it. Just be a good mouse.
You got a lot of time to waste it this way, mister.
You're too gaddy, Novak.
And you're too tough, Junior.
And this noise is beginning to give me a headache.
Oh!
Let's go, Eddie. Novak's going to sulk a while.
He could have taken 3 bases on that wallet. I spread out on the back seat like a bowl of cake batter and tried to think of a guy named Joe Denine. There was nobody on my list for that name. But the way these 2 gunsels acted, he was supposed to be a blood relative. I could hear him talking dimly, and I tried to follow the conversation, but it was like trying to put a smoke ring in your pocket. I don't know how long the tour lasted. It must have been about 30 or 40 minutes when the car pulled up and the big gun started to yank me.
Wake up! Wake up, sweet boy! Come on, it's time for your 10 o'clock feeding.
Yeah. Wait till I borrow some legs, huh?
Come on, you never looked better. All right. Down the dock here.
Are we playing a new game or hunting a guy named Denine?
That's right.
Good. Now I know the rules.
Well, is that your boat, Novak?
It's got my name on it.
Is that your boat, Novak?
Well, what's it look like? The Normandy? Of course it's my boat. Who threw the blood all over it? One of your friends?
Maybe Denine.
Now, look, you better back up and start a recap. I never heard of Denine, and from the size of his friends, I'm just about as happy.
You mean he didn't rent a boat off you?
If he used that boat, he stole it, mister. I closed up tonight at 7.
You make it sound good.
It is good. I've been off the waterfront 4 hours. In the meantime, somebody takes my boat and gets it chock full of holes and sends you around a week. Who is Denine?
A friend.
I don't blame either of you for hanging on to one.
We were supposed to meet him at your landing at 10. He was going to rent one of your boats, and we were going to meet him at 10.
There's the boat. You want to pay the damages?
We came early and found the boat piled up, blood all over and no Denine. You got any ideas?
Maybe he cut himself shaving. Dragged the bay, mister. I don't know your guy, but somebody did. They met him out there in the bay and cut him down.
You sound happy.
Now, look, I don't care one way or another, except he used my boat. If he wanted to die, he should have hired a Davenport. That's all I know. I never heard of Joe Denine.
Yeah.
You and your friend here better go sap somebody else.
Sure, Novak. We'll look around, but hang on to your cards because you still got a hand in this game.
Thanks, Mother. I'll remember that.
Watch out, Eddie! Watch out! You all right, Eddie? Nice curve, Novak.
You're wrong, mister. My friends ride the cable car.
You made a bum pitch, Novak. Nice.
All right, let go. You can't afford a fight now.
I want you for Eddie, Novak.
Sorry, fellow. The water's going to be cold.
Hey, what's the trouble? Trouble going on?
No. Whatever gave you that idea?
I'm a night watchman over here. That fellow lying on the dock there dead?
Well, if he's not, he's going to catch cold.
What about the other fellow? Maybe he can't swim.
What do you care? He doesn't.
Oh. They come here looking for something?
Yeah.
Guess they didn't find it, huh?
Somebody's satisfied. They were trying to find the guy that came out of that boat down there.
Oh, you mean the funny-looking guy?
Huh?
A guy got out of that boat a few hours ago, all banged up. I think he was in a fight.
Yeah?
Sure, somebody shot him. I think he was in a fight.
Where'd he go?
Down the dock toward the street. He asked about a fella and went down the dock.
Oh.
He asked about a fella named Novak. Do you know him?
Yeah, but I'll do my best to forget. It wasn't going to be easy to forget. I knew there was a guy wandering around San Francisco waiting to jog my memory. And before long, somebody was going to find out those 2 dead guys weren't doing light housekeeping down on the dock. Once homicide smelled that red meat, they'd turn Inspector Hellman loose. That's like pouring a bottle of cyanide in a wedding cake. Oh, he's a smart cop with a heart the size of a full-grown pea. I got off the dock in a hurry and I went home. When I left, the watchman was still standing there waiting to check in the next murder and smiling like a vulture with the first option on a massacre. Well, I had to get home and look sweet in case Hellman showed up. When I opened the door to my place, Hellman was on the couch with a pencil in one hand and a movie magazine in the other.
Hello, Novak. You busy?
No, I'll just stand here and watch you. A little more of that pencil and movie magazine routine, and you'll break out in a cold sweat.
Where have you been?
Staying out of other people's apartments?
I got an answer for that.
You haven't got an answer for anything, Hellman. You can't fill in the return address envelope. What's on your mind?
Can I make a call?
No, not to play cat and mouse. If you want to know about that bloodbath down on the dock, say so.
Yeah?
They're close strangers. I never saw either of them before.
You're getting loose around the mouth, Novak.
Huh?
That's right. If some of your playmates stub their toes, it's news to me. You better tell me, though. It'll save time.
Well, what's the use? If a fact walked up and sat in your lap, you'd lose it.
Suit yourself. Have a drink?
Yeah, I will. Where's the bottle opener?
Huh?
The bottle opener. You got teeth for it. I need a bottle opener, Hellman.
I don't know. Try the kitchen.
All right. Yeah.
Try the light.
Well.
About this guy on the floor, Novak. Don't tell him to move because I don't think he can.
When I looked down at the guy on the floor, I felt like a burlap sack from the neck down. He was a big guy lying on his back, and you got the idea he took it hard. He didn't like the way the boat came in. Because he wasn't relaxed the way most people are when they're on the prowl for a harp. He was about as rigid as a coil of wet line on a steamer deck. His face was pockmarked and the color of an old piece of abalone. Hellman was standing over him, and the shadow cut across the lower part of his face. It almost blocked out the gun, a big .38 lying about 4 feet away. The rest of the kitchen was a mess. It was torn up worse than a Japanese lantern in a high wind. Hellman was leaning against the cabinet and smiling like the banker in a crooked blackjack game.
Does he belong to you, Novak?
No, he's not pretty enough. Roll him over. We'll find out who he is.
I've already been through his stuff.
Wipe your hands. The green still shows.
His name is Joe Denine.
You sure we're popular, Joe.
Why?
The scavenger hunt. Every gun-up in town's been looking for him.
I figured you for the prize.
2 of them picked me up and lugged me down to the waterfront.
Yeah?
I told you about them. They ran into bad weather.
Why'd they take you?
Because I look like a bird dog, maybe. I don't know why, Hellman. They just took me. In the meantime, Sunshine here took my boat out and got shot up.
And he came up here to borrow your adhesive tape.
That's all I know, Hellman. He must have figured me for a part.
I got the same trouble, Novak. That gun on the floor helps, too.
That gun's second lead at best. I never saw it before.
It's the murder gun. How'd it get here?
I don't know.
Maybe the scullery maid left it. Come on, Novak. You're in the spot. You better start digging.
If I do any digging, the dirt's going to go in your face, Hellman.
You've got a nice face, too, Novak.
You better buy a big shield, Hellman. You've got a lot to hide behind.
Stop beefing. You're the host. What about the safety deposit box?
You're ahead of me on that one. You ought to have your picture taken.
He was talking about a safety deposit box when I got here.
It was alive when you got here?
That's right. Show more joy. The neighbors heard the shooting and phoned in.
Well, who did it? What did he say?
He said, tough luck, copper. That's all he said. Something about a safety deposit box and tough luck, copper.
Oh, that's real fine. You let him die clammed up. You're smart, Hellman. You let him off with a third-rate tagline.
You're lucky, Novak. This way it's going to take me 12 hours to wrap you up. I'm going to run that gun through and check a couple of things, then I'll be on your tail.
I want to see you follow something up, Hellman. With that big nose of yours, you couldn't find a moose in the bathtub.
Look, Novak, you're a small-time waterfront punk. You've been lucky so far, but you're still a punk. I don't like you, and I'm going to hang you by your heels. I'm going to get you. If it's the last thing I ever do, I'm going to get you.
Hellman, if I thought you were on the level about that, I'd give myself up. When Hellman left, things were about as dim as a glowworm at high noon. All the leads were tucked away in the morgue. Those 2 stiffs on the dock checked out with nothing but a grunt, and the guy up in my place left a .38 and some mild regrets. I had the funny feeling there was a lead up there in that apartment, but I couldn't get a hold of it. Something waiting to be understood, the way a thing gets balanced on the edge of your brain, half in, half out, like the melody but not the words of an old song. Well, I didn't know where to turn. I was hunting for the shoreline on a dark night. So I looked up the only honest guy I know, an ex-doctor and a boozer by the name of Jocko Madigan. Oh, he's all right, but he's got the idea that all liquid that isn't 100 proof lacks character. I finally found him in a little bar down near Union Square. He was talking to a blonde girl and a sailor when I walked in.
Ah, Patsy, you find me in the late October of my life, trying to recapture a few April moments.
Yeah, Jocko, I got to talk to you.
That's what I like about good whiskey. It makes you too sentimental to be mad at yourself for growing old.
Now, look, I'm in a jam. Lay off that stuff long enough to listen.
Patsy, you underrate the grape. It's a terrible mistake. It's thrown off the whole perspective of history.
All right, Jocko.
Like that story about young Washington and the cherry tree. They blame him for that, but actually it was his first hint of future greatness.
Yeah.
They talk about vandalism, whereas the truth of the matter is he was just preparing a few Manhattans for the family. The whole perspective of history has been altered, Patsy.
Oh, stop it, will you? I'm in trouble. Will you help me out?
Yes, if you'll allow me to get a word in edgewise. What kind of trouble?
There's a dead guy up at my place.
Oh, I don't know why you're in trouble. Think of his bleak outlook on things.
Hellman's nosing around and he thinks I did it.
Did you?
No, he got shot in relays, but he picked my place to quit. And there are 2 other dead guys down on the dock.
What were their practices?
They strong-armed me about 10 o'clock and took me down to the waterfront. We were supposed to find a guy named Joe Denine, but they looked too ripe to somebody.
How about Denine?
He's that guy up at my place. When Hellman got there, he was muttering about a safety deposit box and staring at a big 38. Oh, come on, you gotta help me, Jocko.
Yes, where would you like me to spread the ashes?
I want you to get out and find out everything you can about Joe Denine, will you?
He's your house guest. Why don't you go?
Hit the Chronicle and the Examiner morgues and try to find out if he has a safety deposit box in any of the banks, huh?
Where are you going? Before prison, I mean.
I'm going down and lie in Hellman's shadow until something turns up. I need every minute, Jocko, so hurry.
Well, I'll need a quick one for the road first.
You'll get going right now, Jocko.
Patsy, you have a defiant attitude for a man on the doorstep to the next world. Try to be sweeter until you discover your normal disposition will do. You can start by paying my bar bill.
All right. Will you hurry? How much do you owe?
About $11.
What have you been doing all night? Are you crazy?
I may owe $11, Patsy, but so far I've had a better night than you have. Good night, lover.
I had to get started on some answers because once Hellman checked on those 2 guys at the dock, he'd go to work on me. He'd keep hacking away and finally cut me down like a piece of flint in a cigarette lighter. Well, after I left Jocko, I started down to headquarters. It was a little after midnight and the streets were wet and silent, except that now and then you could hear a woman's laughter coming out of the dark as you passed along. That's the only sound the night keeps whole. Well, I was cutting down Leavenworth Street when it came to me. I knew what my lead was up in that apartment. It didn't hit me suddenly. It kept shoving in like a piece of old seaweed on the water, moving in and out and finally brushing up against you. If that guy was alive when Hellman got there, that meant that maybe he could have phoned somebody. And if he did, then they'd have a record of it down at the desk. Well, I got back to my place and asked the operator. Oh, it feels good when you got the right sweepstakes ticket. She said a call had been put in from my place at 10:15 to the Ambrose Hotel, room 204. Well, at last things were beginning to make sense. They must have made sense for about 5 seconds because Hellman called. The girl handed me the phone and he started in.
I got news for you, Novak. We checked the prints on that murder gun. They don't add.
Take your trouble to the chaplain, Hellman. I got my quota.
Yeah. You got fancy friends, too, Novak. The prints belong to Jake Fidello.
Yeah, how do you spell that?
F-I-D... You're cute, aren't you, Novak?
To Jake Fidello, I'm nothing. Who is he?
Cheap punk like you, Novak. He's working on a 20-year stretch in Alcatraz.
Huh?
Yeah, Alcatraz. So there's no tie between the murder gun and the murder.
Maybe Fidello bought himself a 2-day furlough.
We already checked. The guard saw him in his cell at 11 o'clock tonight reading a book.
Guards pay the rent, too, Hellman. My boat was out in that bay tonight, and it came back full of bullets and blood. Now you're trying to tell me there's no connection. You better find out if a guy can skip Alcatraz for a few hours.
I'll wait, Novak. Maybe you can tell me how it's done before long.
Well, nothing matched now. It was like the chorus girl's legs in a cheap nightclub. If Jake Fidello was smart enough to beat Alcatraz for a couple of hours, then he wasn't dumb enough to leave that murder gun behind. And what was the connection between Denine and Jake Fidello? And who lived at the Ambrose Hotel? Well, I went up there to find out. It was a small place up near the top of Telegraph Hill, and when I rode by, I could see Alcatraz sitting out in the bay, a lonely island full of birthdays. The Ambrose turned out to be a high-toned little joint, the sort of place with a welcome mat's printed in Old English. I went up to 204. The card in the door said Frederica Sims. I knocked, and when the door opened, it was like shaking hands with a flamethrower. She was a tall number, and she screamed Final Edition all over. She stood in the doorway for a minute and swayed in a nice, contented way like a snake on the right diet. And when she said hello, you wanted to hand her your arm and say, twist.
Good evening.
Yeah, my name's Novak.
I'll remember. Won't you come in?
It'll save an argument.
Good. I hope you don't mind crowds, Mr. Novak.
She means me, Mr. Novak. I'm Mike Trevor.
And I'm Freddie Sims.
Well, that brings us up to date.
A drink would do so much more. You need a drink, Mr. Novak. You look a little dusty.
Don't mind her, Novak. She addresses all people as peasants.
All right, now suppose you two landowners tell me who killed Joe Denine.
You know, Mike, I don't think he wants the drink.
We'll all celebrate when you get around to Denine.
I don't think we know a man by the name of Denine, particularly if he's dead.
Yes, I'm sure we wouldn't like him.
Come on, let's drop the smart talk. Come on, back in the saloon. A guy by the name of Joe Denine died all over my kitchen tonight.
Don't get tough, Novak. If you missed your dinner, all right, but don't come up here screaming about your dead friend.
Now, look, I'm about 10 feet behind a phone call. Denine put in a call for this number just before he died.
Then it was whimsy, Novak, or anything else you'd like to call it. We don't know the man. You can mull it over on your way downstairs.
Yeah, and you can use the time to think over that safety deposit box.
What safety deposit
box?
Oh,
you're jumping your cue, lady. Make it more casual, huh?
Do you know what you're talking about, Novak?
You think so?
I'll tell you what I'll do, Novak. I'll buy that key from you.
You got a deal, unless you want to pay it off with money.
You mean Joe Denine?
That's right. I'm running front on a murder rap. You want that key. If you want it bad enough, come on down to headquarters and we'll make a trade.
No, thanks, Novak. You didn't look bright, but I thought you might be hiding your brains somewhere. This way you lose money.
You lose even more, Trevor. I was going to ease you into that murder rap, but the offer's out. You'll have to struggle in, and you'll be too tired to get out.
Can I loan either of you boys a pickaxe?
No, thanks. Well, I'm going to run along. Can I drop you anyplace, Novak?
I'll stay.
You know, I didn't think I could drop you anyplace. Novak, you ought to sell that gleam in your eye. Some airport could use it. Good night, Freddie. Be careful.
Good night, Mike. I can take care of myself.
Yes, if you try. That's all I was worried about.
Your friend reads the wrong books.
I'll bet you never wasted your time that way. Why don't you sit down on the couch here and have a drink, Patsy? Now that the argument's over.
Is it?
Well, at least we need a drink.
Yeah, sure. That'll make the talk some easy. About that key.
Do you think I want the key?
Like nothing else in the world.
No. That's a little rash, Patsy. But I do want it. I want it very badly.
Those are famous last words, lady. You heard the round with Mike. The prices haven't changed.
Mm-hmm. That's too expensive, darling. Here's your drink. What are you looking at, Patsy?
You? The way you slide around on that couch?
Yes.
Yeah. You belong in the Everglades.
If I were there, Patsy, I think you're the kind of a guy who'll be right around the next bend.
You sound pretty sure. That's a good way to lose your shirt.
I am sure, Patsy. I know that about us. We belong in the swamp.
Yeah.
We belong together. Because we're the same kind. We're neither good nor bad. We just are. And that has to do.
You make it sound corny, baby.
Try to hide, darling, but I can see you peeking through your fingers. I can see you awfully good from here, Patsy.
Watch out. You're backing into a corner, Angel.
But I've got you with me.
Make some more noise, huh? I like it.
It's true. I've got you with me, haven't I, Patsy?
I can still struggle.
I'll bet you don't struggle good. I'll bet you don't struggle good at all, Patsy.
I still got that key, baby.
Yes, you see.
It stays at my place.
I could eat you, Patsy. You're wonderful.
Yeah.
You never hand me my drink. We'll serve it at the end of the table.
Sure.
That's it, darling.
It doesn't pay much to fall in love. I spent enough time on her rug to work my way into the design. And when I finally came to, it was morning. There was nobody around the place, so I started for home. On the way, I tried to fill in the blind spots, but it was like trying to match pearls in the dark. Somebody had killed Denine for the key to that safety deposit box, but where was the key? If the girl or Mike Trevor did it, then why were they still on the trail? Well, when I got to my apartment, the place was torn apart. Looked something like a mop closet after a New Year's Eve party. Jocko was sitting in the middle of the room listening to the water fizz.
Good morning. Where'd you get the bump on the head?
Romance. What'd you find out, Jocko?
Denine had lots of friends and enemies.
Yeah, one of them's Jake Fidello.
He's number one on the list. Denine had a brawl with Fidello 2 years ago. Jake promised to square the beef.
He's in a bad spot for it now.
Maybe. Denine has no safety deposit box.
Well, that was my out.
Perhaps you can take up folk dancing in prison. I'll send you diagrams of new steps from time to time. Fidello has a safety deposit box, though.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's got a lot of money floating around somewhere.
Well.
And a lot of women doing the same thing.
We're getting a better shuffle now. Is the girl's name Freddie Sims?
That's right. Fidello loves her like the last 15 minutes of life. That's why he won't like it.
Get to the point, huh?
She's supposed to be waiting for him, but she's got married in Mexico to a guy named Mike Trevor, Fidello's best friend. Does it make sense?
No, it doesn't. Suppose Jake's found out about his sweetheart and best friend. Why would he kill Denine?
I don't know, except you'll find out, Patsy, that sometimes the difference between your best friend and your worst enemy is only a matter of opportunity.
Yeah, Novak talking.
How's the dent in your forehead?
Oh, you get around, Hellman.
Yeah, we picked her up at your apartment.
She tell you about that key?
A little. She made a confession, too.
She's generous.
Not to Mike Trevor. She pinned the whole thing on him and signed a statement. We're going to have to pick him up now. I'll see you in 10 minutes.
Why?
In case he wants to shoot somebody, I'm offering you.
Things were moving fast now. I sent Jocko down to start repair work on the boat, and Hellman picked me up 5 minutes later. We drove out Geary and turned on Van Ness. Oh, Hellman was real subtle. He stopped right in front of the rooming house where Mike Trevor was living. The girl had mapped it out for him. Trevor was in a first-floor room. It was a quiet neighborhood. But as we opened the front door and started in, I got the idea it was going to be a tough place to get any sleep for the next few minutes.
Down on the right side here. Stay ahead of me, Novak.
You're one copper who will die in bed, Hellman.
Down the hall and be quiet. Yeah, this is it.
On this lap, you go first.
Stand back while I throw it open.
And empty, Hellman.
Girl said he was here. What's that?
Your boy's up at the top of the stairs.
You see him?
Oh, he's not wearing neon pants. Go up and get him.
Come on down, Trevor. Your girl talks. Come on down and sign a confession.
I've got a better idea, Copper. You come up and hand me the pen.
All right, Novak.
Move over, Hellman. He's going to argue.
He's heading for the roof. Let's go.
Hold it, Hellman. If that door up there is locked, we'll run right through the barrel.
You get one more chance, Trevor. Come on down.
That roof door is locked.
All right, Copper, I'm coming down. Make a hole.
Now you got your hole, Trevor.
Yeah. Novak, you better get to that safety deposit box. Get there in a hurry. Before the girl.
Oh, the city owns him now, Hellman. Let's get to that safety deposit box.
Let her have the key. What do you care, Novak? She's Fidello's girl.
No. There's a queer twist here somewhere. How do you know what's in that box?
So, Fidello's in love with the girl. He's grateful. What do you care?
That's what makes it good. That's the way it is with love and gratitude. The love goes on, Hellman, but the gratitude changes. Well, the way things stood, there was only one place that key could be. I got to a phone and called Jocko. I told him to check out on the boat for a key somewhere on the floorboards. Jocko seemed happy when he said that some girl had come by 15 minutes ago and nosed around the boat for a while. Well, Hellman and I rushed down to the bank. When we got downstairs, Freddie was just starting into the vault.
Hello, Patsy. You look rested.
If you're on your way to that deposit box, you better think it over.
Can he stop me, Copper?
No, but we can hold the door until we check with Fidello.
Go ahead.
I don't think he's going to like it.
Oh, we'll have to see. I'll be back in a moment.
Let's go, Novak. We can hold the door upstairs.
No, let's hang around. I just want to see 18-karat greed when she opens that box. There's the gratitude helmet.
Well, Tuffy, I got the key, huh?
Well, you got everything, Eva.
How about Mike? What happened to him?
He beat you over the line by 20 minutes.
Well, that's enough. Let me know.
I'll try again, because you don't rate him nicely. You're not worth anything Fidello ever had.
It's part of argument. I couldn't finish him.
I was wrong about one thing, Eva. When I said Fidello wouldn't like this. I think he will.
Yeah.
Fidello was a thorough guy. The way he told out, but the right inning. Fidello found out about the girl and Mike Trevor, so he pulled a switch. He hired his enemy, Joe Denine, to do the job. Denine planted the bomb in the safety deposit box, and just to prove it was a square pitch, Fidello gave Denine. Denine was supposed to kill the girl and leave the key for Mike to blow his head off. And just to make it clean, Fidello got in touch and told him to look up Denine if anything happened to the girl. That way, he figured to knock up all three of them. But Mike jumped the gun. He started tailing Denine and shot him up out on the bank. He followed him to my place and killed him with the gun Denine was carrying. Denine came across, but he called the girl and told her there was a lot of money in that safety deposit box. Awfully big. But he told the girl finally double-crossed Mike Trevor and turned him in. Trevor killed those two guys in the pier. He lost Denine in the fog. And when he drove up, a couple of jumpers along got scared. The question, what could that girl have said to Jocko to make him let her walk in and breeze out with that key? I mentioned that to Jocko, but he just smiled.
It brought you Pat Novak for Hire, starring Jack Webb. Pat Novak is directed and produced by William D. Rousseau. Jocko Madigan is played by Tudor Owen. Inspector Hellman is played by Raymond Burr. Music was composed in our cast were Vaughn Fatey, Paul Avery, Harley Bear, and Herb Ellis. This program is being released to our worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. This is George Fenneman inviting you to be with us again next week, when over most of these same ABC stations will bring you Pat Novak for Hire. This program came to you from Hollywood. This is ABC, the American Broadcasting Company.
The story you are about to hear is true. Only the names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Fatima Cigarettes, best of all long cigarettes, brings you Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to forgery detail. An accomplished check forger resumes operations in your city. The suspect's described as a middle-aged woman. She's written more than $20,000 in bad checks. Your job, get her.
In a moment, an authentic case from official files.
Oh, no.
Ah, that's different.
Yes, what a difference.
In Fatima, the difference is quality.
You see, Fatima is the quality king-size cigarette because it contains the finest Turkish and domestic tobaccos superbly blended. And Fatima is extra mild with a much different, much better flavor and aroma than any other long cigarette. Because of its quality, its extra mildness, its better flavor and aroma, Fatima has more than doubled its smokers coast to coast.
Fatimas cost the same as other long cigarettes, but your first puff will tell you...
Ah, that's different.
Yes, in Fatima, the difference is quality. Ask your dealer for Fatima, the quality king-size cigarette. Best of all, long cigarettes. Start enjoying Fatima tomorrow.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Monday, April 17th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working a day watch out of forgery detail. My partner's Ben Romero. The boss is Captain Elliott. My name's Friday. I was on the way back into work, and it was 7:53 a.m. when I got to room 29. Forgery detail.
Morning, Joe.
Hi, how'd the weekend go?
Oh, pretty slow. Stayed home, did some gardening.
How about that new lawn you put in? How's it doing?
If we want a lawn, we're going to have to move.
What's the matter now?
Same old thing.
Gophers?
Must be hundreds of them. So many holes at the top of the lawn looks like an old punch board.
Oh, that's too bad. Can't you try some kind of poison on them? Or how about those new things they got out? What do they call them? Gopher bombs?
I use them by the dozen. They eat anything.
Joe? Ben?
Yeah, Ferguson.
Good morning, Captain. Let's see.
Okay.
What's up, Fergie?
You ain't gonna like it. Skipper will brief you.
Morning, Skipper.
Hi. Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, thanks.
You two finished up with the Benson case yesterday, that right? Yeah, it's all washed up. We're clear. Good. Then you can start on this one right away. You'll work with Frank Besser and Ferguson here. What is it? Grandma.
I had a hunch, Joe.
What have we done to deserve this? It's nothing any of us have done. It's what we haven't done. I want her stopped once and for all. Are we any closer to her than we have been, Fergie?
Just about same, Joe.
That's why I'm putting 2 more of you on it. How well do you know the case? Well, just what we've heard around the office.
Same here. I could stand some briefing.
Ferguson?
Well, you must have heard how she operates. 3 months out of the year, April, October, and December, that's all.
She's never been known to change that schedule?
Not as far as I know. She's been doing it the same for 9 years.
All the phony checks she cashes are personal checks.
That's right. She never writes them less than $2 and never more than 100.
9 years. She been going that long?
9.5. It'll be an even 10 this October. You want to check them out on the totals, Ferguson?
Up to and including the first of this month, she's cashed 1,273 checks. The total's a little over $22,000.
Anything special about the way she writes the checks? Nothing but the signatures. There's an alias list on her that'll knock your eye out, more than 200 different names.
Her description's still the same, about 50 years old, kind of plump, nice face.
A few minor changes. Last year she had gray hair, dressed very plain. This year she dyed her hair black, dresses a little more expensively.
9 years. That's a long streak of luck for any paper hanger.
That's just it. This old gal's not just an ordinary paper hanger. She's no amateur, don't get me wrong, but she doesn't operate like any check forger I've ever known. She contradicts part of her MO, part of it she doesn't. She takes chances an ordinary paper hanger would never take, and she gets away with them. Take a look at just one of these exhibits. Yeah? This one here. 28 checks passed on the same chain of grocery stores, same company.
She passed them all in 1 month?
No, that's just the point. 2 years ago, she passed 14 of them, spread them out over a period of a month. Last year, she passed another batch of 14, all within 3 days. 1 year, she used a different name on each check. On this batch, she used the same name. Well, does she have any identification when she passes these checks?
Always. Phony driver's license, social security cards, it works. And she's got that sweet grandmother smile of hers. Clerks rarely turn her down when she shows up with a check.
You can get used to different descriptions of her, too. Give the file a look. Hardly 3 of the check victims can get together on what she looks like exactly. Well, where are they getting stung most? Downtown or out in the neighborhoods? The neighborhoods. Anywhere from the beach area to the valley.
This whole file, Skipper, that's not just her work, is it?
Every last bit of it. We can't fit it in a 6-foot shelf. In 9 years, I've had 5 teams of men work this thing. None of them reached her. You and Friday make the 6th. It's April 17th. How's she doing so far this month, Fergie?
Cash $624 in checks we know of since the first of the month. Same general description, same general M.O.
No fresh leads?
She's been operating 9 years, Joe.
Yeah.
Just as good as ever.
To the working detective, there's no tougher job than tracking a lawbreaker who's half professional and half amateur. You can expect a criminal who's entirely professional to react generally the same in a given set of circumstances. And the same with the amateur. But take the two, the professional and the amateur, and intermingle their possible and probable reactions. You'll likely have a sound reason why and how an elderly woman could victimize merchants with $20,000 in bad checks over a period of 9 years without being caught. Grandma, as she'd come to be known, worked only 3 months out of each year, April, October, and December. Her apparent fine sense of timing and her knowledge of psychology was far and away superior to that of the ordinary paper hanger. If the file on Grandma was any indication, she apparently had been born to be a successful check forger. After Ben and I spent 3 days on the case with Sergeants Ferguson and Besser, we were almost convinced that there was only one way we could reach the suspect. She had to make a mistake.
Fergie, how'd you do?
Pretty sour. 4 checks in 2 days. What'd you fellas get?
2. Don Meyer checked the signatures. They're all hers.
Mm-hmm. Here's our list if you're interested.
Mm-hmm.
Meat market out in Pico, $25. Grocery in West Hollywood, $48. 2 department stores downtown, $100 a piece.
How do they describe the woman?
Same old yarn. She was a nice, charming little lady, about 55 or 60, small, dark hair, graying, dark eyes, nice smile. Clerk told me she reminded him of his mother.
Yeah.
How'd you make out on those 2 of yours?
Oh, about the same. Even the story about her looking like somebody's mother.
One thing, sure. Her timing's just as good as it was 9 years ago.
Downtown Merchants Association's screaming again. They're looking for action.
So are we.
You talked to Captain today?
Yeah, he's looking for action, too. I don't know what we can do unless we get some kind of cooperation from the merchants. Every time the old gal pushes a bum check, it's 3 or 4 days before it gets to the bank, and we hear about it. The trail's pretty cold by then.
Yeah, Joe and I were talking just before you came in, Fergie. We can't expect too much to happen the way we're going.
Any ideas?
More men and more stakeouts. The captain says he'll buy that. That's about all we can do.
Another 10 days and April will be over. Grandma will be through pushing checks till October again.
I don't know, Joe. Her formula's too perfect for me. There's got to be a flaw in it someplace.
Yeah. You got out a bulletin of that revised description of her for you?
Yeah, it's all taken care of. Special notices were mailed out to merchants, too.
Again?
Yeah.
Forgery, Romero? Yes, sir. That's all. Yeah, right away, thank you. Supermarket on Temple Street. Grandma. Hit him with 2 checks.
Any lead?
Clerk says she reminded him of his mother.
A week passed. The number of stakeouts on business places throughout the city was doubled. The M.O. and description of the suspect was circulated among the merchants in the downtown and suburban shopping centers. Clerks were especially warned to be on the lookout for. The precautions went for nothing. Grandma's checks kept showing up at the rate of 2 and 3 a day. On April 27th, she passed a check for $50 at the Delicatessen on Hollywood Boulevard. We drove out to interview the owner, Mr. Hammerson.
Do you have one of those circulars we sent out on this woman?
Well, I'm ashamed to say it, Sergeant, but I have, hanging right back there in the storeroom. The thing of it is, I never connected the two, the woman and the notice. It's the way she looks at you, you know, like you'd be a heel to even question her.
Mm-hmm. How was she dressed the last time she was in? Do you remember that?
Well, she had kind of a plain black coat on. Would you excuse me a minute? I don't like to keep customers waiting.
Oh, sure, go ahead. Yes.
How are you, Mrs. Lyons?
Need some cold meat for kids' lunches. What do you got nice and fresh?
You see right there in the case. Head cheese is very fresh. Good for the kiddies. Pimento loaf's nice, too.
Oh, kids don't like either one. Fussy. You better give me 35 cents for that small bologna, would you?
Yes, ma'am.
Kids are so fussy nowadays. Ought to be in Europe. That's what I tell them. I know what it is to go hungry. Oh, you better give me a couple of those large kosher pickles, too. Husband's crazy for them.
Yes, ma'am.
And a loaf of the rye, too, would you, no seed?
Yes, ma'am. How are the kiddies doing in school, Mrs. Lyons?
Oh, it's fine. Marilyn's in the school pageant next month. She's going to be the queen.
Oh, that's nice.
Well, I don't know how nice it is. More work, that's all. I have to make her costume.
There you are, Mrs. Lyons. Put it on the bill?
Yeah, would you do that? I'll see you the 15th of the month.
Yes, ma'am. Goodbye.
Uh-huh. Goodbye.
Sorry to keep you waiting, officer.
Not at all.
Let's see now. Where was I?
Well, we asked you how the woman was dressed.
Oh, yeah. Had a black coat on. I told you that.
Yes, sir.
Very plain-looking clothes, like any other housewife. Print dress, some kind of a scarf around the neck. That's about all I noticed.
How about that description of her in the bulletin we sent you? That fit her pretty well?
Yeah, I guess so. She didn't exactly seem plump to me, though. Kind of a nice figure for a woman of her age.
Mm-hmm. Do you know if any of your customers were acquainted with her?
I wouldn't know that. She acted as though she knew some of them, but now that this has happened, I can see she was just putting on. She was a great disappointment to me.
Yes, she is to a lot of people.
I used to josh with her all the time. I'm a widower, you know. Thought once or twice I might even date her up.
That so?
Yeah, she seemed like a real good sport, joshing all the time, fine personality, just as homey as you please.
Well, that fits in with the other descriptions.
Are you ever going to catch somebody like that?
2 days later, on April 30th, right on schedule, the flow of bogus checks in Grandma's handwriting suddenly stopped. If she continued to work by the same timetable she'd been using for the last 9 years, she wouldn't start operations again until the 1st of October. During the next 5 months that followed, from May to the end of September, Besser, Ferguson, Ben, and I handled the usual run of check cases. At the same time, we used up every spare hour we had making preparations for the suspect's next appearance. Every businessman throughout the city who might be a possible victim was alerted. A revised description of the suspect, together with her M.O., was printed up and given wide distribution. Every possible precaution was taken. October came. Grandma started on the 10th year of her forgery career without a hitch. On October 1st, she cashed a check for $75 at a large downtown women's shop. As soon as we got the report, we went to the department where the check had been received. A fashion show was in progress.
She's wearing a deep black velvet dinner suit, the newest shade for evening wear. You will notice the pencil thin skirt and a doll with 3/4 sleeves.
Excuse me. Are you Mr. Montrose? Yes? What is it?
Police officer, sir. Forgery detail.
Oh, yes, that check. I wonder if you could hold on for just a moment.
Yes, sir.
Miss Janice Morgan next. She wears a gown of striking originality with rich but simple lines. A black dinner dress. A satin skirt with handmade forms. A sculptured silk and latex sweater top with an oval neckline punctuated with ball fringe.
Hey, Joe. What kind of outfit is that the model's wearing?
I don't know.
How much to it?
All right, officers. Would you like to step this way, please?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
This is my office here. Well, I don't know what I can do for you, gentlemen. Check was passed. Very unfortunate occurrence.
You okayed the check for cashing, is that correct?
Yes, the sales girl handled the transaction. She showed me the check. I knew the signature, so I okayed it.
Mary Walker?
Yes, that's how this check was signed.
What kind of identification did the woman have?
Her charge account plate. You know, the small metal card, charger plates we call them. I recognized that in the signature immediately.
You know this Mary Walker pretty well?
She's one of our best customers.
You are listening to Dragnet, authentic stories of your police force in action. Oh, no.
Ah, that's different.
Yes, what a difference.
There's a difference you can hear, there's a difference you can see, but the difference in Fatima is quality.
Yes, friends, when you compare long cigarettes, you'll find that in Fatima, the difference is quality. Quality of tobaccos. The finest Turkish and domestic varieties, extra mild and superbly blended, to give you a much different, much better flavor and aroma than any other long cigarette.
Quality of manufacture. Smooth, plump cigarettes, rolled in the finest paper money can buy.
Quality even to the appearance of the bright, clean yellow package. Carefully wrapped and sealed to bring you Fatima's rich, fresh, extra mild flavor.
Fatima's cost the same as other long cigarettes, but your first puff will tell you...
Ah, that's different.
Yes, in Fatima, the difference is quality. Ask your dealer for Fatima, the quality king-size cigarette. Best of all, long cigarettes. Start enjoying Fatima tomorrow.
Friday, October 4th, 2 p.m. Before we left the store, we found that another worthless check bearing the signature Mary Walker had been cashed in a different department of the store the same day. The woman had used the same means of identification, a metal charge account plate stamped with the name Mary Walker. We took the two checks back to the office and had Don Meyer in handwriting compare the signatures. There wasn't any doubt in his mind. The writing on both checks was Grandma's. Well, it was only a hunch, but it was beginning to look as though the suspect had finally done what we'd been waiting 9 years for her to do. She'd made a mistake. Ben and I drove out to an address in the Wilshire district to interview Mrs. Mary Walker. She fit the same general description of the suspect, but she denied writing either one of the checks which bore her signature.
It's out of the question, Sergeant. I couldn't have written the checks. I haven't even been in the city for the past 5 days.
Then the signatures on these two checks here, Mrs. Walker, they're not yours.
It looks like my handwriting, but it's not. I didn't write those checks. They're forgeries.
Yes, ma'am. You do have a charge account at the store, don't you, ma'am?
Oh, yes. I've had an account there for years. Nothing like this has ever happened, though.
You have one of those charge account plates?
Well, yes, I did have one.
You lent it to someone in your family?
No, as a matter of fact, I lost it. I meant to report it to the store, but it slipped my mind.
Do you have any idea where and when you might have lost it?
Well, I think it was last Sunday night. I'm not sure. Oh, well, just a minute. I know who would remember. Inez Lambert, she was there. I'm sure she'll remember.
Who's she, ma'am?
A girlfriend of mine. She lives in the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Inez. Mary Walker, Inez. Oh, just fine. And you? Oh, good. Say, Inez, which night was it we went to the Boosters Club meeting? Sunday? Yes, I thought that it was. Oh, nothing. Just some silly misunderstanding. Yeah, well, all right, Inez. Thanks for remembering for me. Yes, goodbye. It was Sunday night, Sergeant. Inez Lambert and I went to the neighborhood Boosters Club meeting. I'm sure that's where I must have lost it.
Well, you think the charge account plate fell out of your purse, is that it?
Well, either that or it was taken.
Why do you say that, ma'am?
Well, it's a serious thing. I didn't want to mention it.
What's that?
I left my purse on the chair next to me a part of the evening. When I got home, I thought I was missing a $5 bill from my change purse. I didn't notice at the time my charger plate was gone.
Do you remember who was at that meeting, Miss Walker?
Oh, 40 or 50 people at least.
How many women would you say?
Dozen or so, I suppose. I'm not accusing anybody of robbery, Sergeant. I know it's a serious charge to make.
Do you know if one of the club officers might have taken a list of those present?
Oh, they didn't have to. We do the same thing at every meeting.
What's that mean?
We all sign the attendance book when we leave.
3 p.m. Ben and I contacted the secretary of the Neighborhood Boosters Club. He gave us a list of those present at the Sunday night meeting of the club. As Mary Walker had told us, each person present had signed his or her name and address in the attendance book. We took the record downtown with us and had Don Meyer compare each signature on the list with samples of Grandma's handwriting.
Number 32 on the list, fellas. That's it.
Positive, Mick?
No doubt in my mind. That's Grandma's handwriting.
How'd she sign it?
Mrs. Inez Lambert.
We went down the hall to R&I and had him check the name Inez Lambert through the files. She had no criminal record. Together with Besser and Ferguson, Ben and I spent the next day and a half trailing Inez Lambert wherever she went. She fitted the description of the suspect perfectly. We questioned her friends and her neighbors. We dug back into every corner of her life for the past 10 years. The results were pretty amazing. We found that she was highly respected by everybody she knew. She was active in a dozen civic and church organizations. Her reputation was spotless. There was only one hitch. Mrs. Lambert's hobby was charities. By checking back, we found that during the past 10 years, she donated an average of $3,000 annually to various charitable organizations. Her husband's total annual income was $7,000. From her bank, we obtained specimens of Inez Lambert's handwriting. It matched almost perfectly with every signature in the Grandma file. Monday, October 7th, Ben and I called on Mrs. Lambert.
Oh, yes, officers, won't you come in? Mary Walker was telling me about you. Come in, please.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Mary told me about the things missing from her purse at the meeting. Is that what you're inquiring about?
Yes, ma'am. We've got a few other questions to ask you besides that.
Well, you sort of caught me at a bad time. Just getting ready to put some baking in the oven for dinner tonight. Would you mind very much if we talked back in the kitchen? I've got to get this done.
No, not at all, ma'am.
It's back this way. Oh, there goes my cream sauce again, boiled over. Just take a chair there, officers. I'll be right with you.
Thank you.
This cream sauce is so temperamental, can't take your eye off it for a minute. There. Shouldn't boil over now. Would either of you officers care for a cup of cocoa? Chilly out today.
Well, no, thank you, ma'am. We only have a few questions for you. It won't take long.
Yes? All right. Would you mind holding this bowl just a minute, Sergeant?
Oh, yeah.
I just have to get this in the oven for dinner. My husband's favorite dessert. It's called pinch pie. It's kind of a meringue tart.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Take 2 eggs, I guess. There we are. Get these egg whites beaten up nice and light. That cup of sugar on the sink, Sergeant. Would you be so kind?
Yeah, all right. Here's your sugar, ma'am.
Thank you. Now, what is it you wanted to know?
Mrs. Walker had her charge account plate stolen that night at the Boosters Club meeting. Somebody's been using it to cash bad checks in her name.
Is that so? Mary didn't tell me that.
The same person who's using that charger plate has been cashing bad checks all over the city. He's been doing it for some time.
Oh, my. Well, I don't think I can help you, Sergeant. I went to that meeting with Mary. She says somebody must have been in her purse, but I didn't see them.
Do you have that charge account plate, Mrs. Lambert?
Me? Oh, no, I have my own. Now, let me see. Teaspoon vanilla, teaspoon vinegar, teaspoon water, combined in a small pitcher or cup.
We've got good reason to believe you have that charge account plate, ma'am. Did you take it from Mrs. Walker?
That's a silly thing for you to say, Sergeant. I told you I have my own charge plate. I never borrow anyone else's, no reason to. Add a few drops of combined liquid. Beat constantly.
Did you cash 2 checks last week and sign them with Mrs. Walker's name?
Well, of course not. Why should I do such a thing? Mary Walker's one of my best friends. I wouldn't do that to her, even as a joke.
Well, our handwriting man compared the signatures on those 2 checks, Mrs. Lambert. Both of them match your handwriting.
When all of the ingredients have been added, continue to beat the meringue for several minutes. Oh, I'm sorry. What was that you said, Sergeant?
I said that the signatures on those 2 forged checks, our handwriting man compared them with specimens of your signature. They both match.
Well, then your handwriting man certainly made a mistake. Oh, there's a large white platter up in that cupboard there. Would you reach it for me, please?
All right. There you are, ma'am.
Well, thank you.
Now, you deny that you wrote those 2 forged checks last week. You deny that you've written and cashed about 1,500 worthless checks in the last 9 years.
Well, of course I deny it. You're sure you haven't made a mistake?
We're sure, ma'am. I'm sorry. You'll have to come downtown with us for questioning.
What's that? Oh, my. It's the cream sauce again. Sergeant, I can't leave the house now, right in the middle of getting dinner ready. My husband would be furious. If you want to talk, couldn't we do it later on?
I'm sorry, ma'am. Afraid not.
But you certainly can't accuse me of doing anything wrong. The folks at the church will vouch for me.
We've got just as many people who say you've cheated them. People who cashed those checks for you.
Quite a few of them, ma'am. 9 years' worth.
But that's silly, 9 years cashing checks. I'm sure you must mean somebody else, Sergeant. I've got to get this platter greased. Let's see. Heat meringue upon lightly greased platter. Here.
Look, we have a record downtown on every single check that you passed since you started, ma'am. We've got specimens of your handwriting and people to identify you. We know what your income is. We know how much that you've given to charities.
Money's got to come from someplace. Is that what the checks were for?
Excuse me, I've got to get this meringue in the oven. Let me see. 275 degrees. Yes. hope I put in enough vanilla.
You want to tell us about it?
I never thought about anyone finding out. I guess I should have expected it, shouldn't I?
Yes, ma'am.
It was all for charity. There were so many of them. Orphanages, Old People's Home, Christmas Poor Fund, and then the overseas relief charities. They all need money. Somebody has to take care of them.
Your husband knew nothing about this for 10 years?
Nothing at all. They were my charities. I had to have money for them. I took money from people who had it and gave it to those who didn't. What do you think, Sergeant? Was I wrong? Do you think the good Lord will say I was wrong?
I wouldn't know, ma'am.
I only wanted to help the poor like he did. I came to help the poor.
Well, there's a big difference, ma'am.
Yes?
He didn't use a checkbook.
The story you have just heard was true. Only the names were changed to protect the innocent.
On December 18th, trial was held in Superior Court, Department 91, City and County of Los Angeles, State of California. In a moment, the results of that trial.
Now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you. The efficiency of any local police department depends on the quality of its personnel. Each and every man is carefully selected and thoroughly trained. In uniform or plain clothes, your police officer knows his job. And so with a cigarette. The men who make Fatima cigarettes know their job. They carefully select and blend the finest Turkish and domestic tobaccos to make Fatima extra mild, different from other long cigarettes. They cost the same, but in Fatima, the difference is quality. If you're a long cigarette smoker like I am, I'm sure you'll like Fatima best. Start enjoying Fatima tomorrow.
Inez Lorraine Lambert entered a plea of guilty to 2 counts of forgery, and the remaining charges were set off calendar. She was sentenced by the court for the term prescribed by law. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department.
Fatima Cigarettes, the best of all long cigarettes, has brought you Dragnet, portions transcribed from Los Angeles.
This is Robert Young. Hear We the People next on NBC.
The story you are about to hear is true. Only the names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Fatima Cigarettes, best of all long cigarettes, brings you Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to narcotics detail. A gang of veteran dope peddlers moves into your city. They offer $100,000 worth of heroin for sale. They make their contacts. They're ready to do business. Your job, stop them.
You'll be amazed when you compare Fatima with other long cigarettes.
Buy a pack of Fatimas.
You'll find they now cost the same.
Light a Fatima. Your first puff will tell you...
Ah, that's different.
Yes, what a difference.
In Fatima, the difference is quality. You see, Fatima is the quality king-size cigarette because it contains the finest Turkish and domestic tobaccos superbly blended. And Fatima is extra mild with a much different, much better flavor and aroma than any other long cigarette. Because of its quality, its extra mildness, its better flavor and aroma, Fatima has more than doubled its smokers coast to coast.
Try comparing Fatima yourself. Fatimas now cost the same as other long cigarettes, but your first puff will tell you...
Ah, that's different.
Yes, in Fatima, the difference is quality. Ask your dealer for Fatima, the quality king-size cigarette. Best of all long cigarettes. Start enjoying Fatima tomorrow.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Wednesday, June 24th. It was sultry in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of narcotics. My partner's Ben Romero. The boss is Thad Brown, chief of detectives. My name's Friday. It was 9:27 a.m. when I got to the Charing Cross Apartments on 12th Street. The side entrance. Hi. Anything doing?
Nothing.
How's the bug working?
Better. One of the fellows from the crime lab came out and fixed it last night. Went next door and replaced the microphone. I'm getting real sour on this detail, Joe.
Well, here, let me take over for a while, huh?
Yeah, you bet you. Here. My ears feel like a couple of baked cauliflowers. 2 solid weeks holed up in this place with a pair of earphones on.
Yeah.
What do we got to show for it? That woman next door hasn't even mentioned narcotics in 2 weeks. All she does is eat, sleep, and play solitaire. Goes out for groceries once in a while.
Hold it. Somebody ringing the buzzer next door.
First visitor in a week.
Yeah. Just a minute.
Yes?
Your name is Maywater.
That's right. What is it?
I talked to a friend of yours, George. Said it might be a good idea if I let you left.
What do you want to see me about?
Well, it's business, Miss Washburn. Could we talk inside?
All right, come on in.
Let me plug in these earphones, Joe.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'd like to introduce myself, Miss Washburn. My name's Howard Scully. You and George were former associates, I understand.
We worked together a little. What can I do for you?
Well, George and I are old friends. We were in business in Hong Kong before the war. He's a nice fellow, George.
No, I have a date downtown in half an hour. I don't have much time to talk.
Sorry, I didn't realize you were in such a hurry. I'll get right to the point.
Yeah.
My business partners and I just came up from Mexicali a few days ago, and we have some merchandise that's ready for the market, and it's good quality.
That's what I hear.
I contacted George, thinking he might introduce me to some prospective buyers. Said he didn't want to handle any merchandise at this time.
Why not?
Oh, it's something about the police. They seem to be watching him. He just didn't want to take any part in any business venture. Just get it.
And George gave you a bum steer sending you to me. I can't help it.
Well, you haven't heard my proposition.
I don't have to hear it. Count me out. I don't fool around with junk, any of it. It's a tough rap out here.
Well, if you'll just listen to my proposition, Miss
No.
Washburn. Please, I'm not asking you to be involved. I have a perfectly safe and legitimate transaction in mind. You'll be well paid for your time and effort with no risk whatsoever.
Yeah, I know. All you big connections make it sound good.
George tells me you're acquainted with the right kind of people. People with money. That's the kind of people that my partners and I want to meet. Now, all I'm asking you to do is introduce me to a few such persons for our mutual benefit, and then you just leave the rest to me.
It's still too much. If I gave you an office to a buyer and you were caught, they'd get me for conspiracy.
No, there's
I've seen too much of it, Scully. It's no sale.
Well, you'll just have to believe me, Miss Washburn. No one's going to be caught. Now, we work in an entirely different manner. The police haven't any idea of our method of operation. We've tested it in 6 big cities in the Orient. And not once did it fail us, and I tell you, it's not going to fail us here.
It's your story.
Well, it's perfect.
I'm not chancing a rap to prove you're wrong.
Well,
Here, do you want a cigarette?
yes. All right. That's right.
Okay. Thanks.
Now, I'm only asking one thing, Miss Washburn. An introduction to the right party, and that's all. Now, you know my reputation. I'll make it well worth your while. If the connection is right, you can live on your take for the rest of the year.
I don't have many friends. Just a few whom I guaranteed for my payoff.
Well, I can deposit the money with George. He'll hold it until the deal is made. You can be real rich, Miss Washburn. Come on, what do you say?
Introduction. That's all.
That's all we'll need. Our product speaks for itself.
I know a fellow out in Hollywood. His name's McMillan. I can call him and tell him to meet you.
That'll be fine, Hazel.
I'm not going to introduce you.
No, that won't.
I'll set up a meet for you, that's all.
All right, that's all we ask. Do you have this, Mr. McMillan?
McMillan.
You have him meet me tonight?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Now, tonight at 11:30, I'll be at the corner of 7th and Alameda. Now, remember this now.
Yeah, all right.
Corner of 7th and Alameda at 11:30 exactly. I'll have on a gray coat, and I'll be carrying a book. Now, McMillan shouldn't have any trouble recognizing me. You just tell him to walk right up to me, put out his hand, and say, "My name's McMillan," that's all. I'll know if he's the right party. My name's McMillan. That's all he has to say.
All right, I've got it. I'll pass it on to you.
Fine. Well, I'll make arrangements with George as soon as possible to take care of your fee. Thank you very much, Miss Wilson.
Not at all. Just don't be too sure of yourself. The fuzz in this town could smell a by 3 miles away.
You'll take care of the police, Miss Washburn. The system should teach him a few lessons. Well, goodbye, Miss Washburn. Thanks very much.
Yeah. Don't come here after this. Call me on the phone.
Certainly. Goodbye.
Joe, wait a minute. She's going for the phone. Come on.
Just a minute.
Try the door. It's locked.
What do you want?
Police officers.
All right, what's the pitch?
I'd like to talk to you downtown.
About what?
Howard Scully.
What about him?
We know why he was here. Get your coat, please.
I haven't done anything.
Come on, lady, let's go.
I told Scully I didn't want in. He made the proposition, but I didn't buy it. You know that. I didn't buy a word of it.
We did. Before the suspect was taken downtown, we informed her landlady to tell anyone that she'd be out of town for a week. That information was to be passed on to any of her friends or business acquaintances who might try to contact her. After that, we took May Washburn back to the office. After being questioned thoroughly, she was detained for further investigation. At 2 p.m., Ben and I met with Captain Kearney, Central Narcotics, and Inspector Virgil Beckner, State Narcotics Bureau, Southern Division.
$100,000 buy, is that what they have in mind?
That's the word around town, Skipper. Washburn girl told us the same thing.
The Washburn woman was approached for an office, huh?
Yes, that's right, Beck. She was ready to go when we picked her up. Pusher's Howard Scully, you remember him?
About 9 years ago, wasn't it, the Tijuana deal?
8 or 9 years, yeah. That big heroin buy, they tagged everyone in the gang but Scully.
Yeah, he's no amateur. He's got every narcotic law in the book memorized. He sets the deals, takes the gravy, but he never gets tagged.
How about the federal narcotics men, Romero? They've been briefed on this deal?
I called Harry Stone over there this morning. They've been following it, too. Said he'd be over this afternoon.
The setup with this McMillan guy. What do you think, Captain?
Clear sailing there, Beck, as far as I can see. Scully set up to meet with May Washburn. Ben and Joe grabbed her before she could contact McMillan. Unless Scully's got a Ouija board, he still must figure everything's Jake.
Then we could have a man meet with Scully tonight and pass himself off as McMillan.
Well, shouldn't be too much trouble. From the way he talks, Scully's never seen McMillan. Has no idea what he looks like. It's just a guess.
Neither one of you are known to Scully, are you?
I never met him or his friends.
I worked that case last February when we grabbed Ray Murdoch. He used to be a mule for Scully. That's as close as I've been.
Well, I'm afraid that's too close. You know how many hype friends Murdoch has in this town. If any of them spot you and pass the word to Scully, the whole deal's choked off. Joe? You think you could pass yourself off as McMillan for a couple of days?
I'd like to give it a try.
Beck, what do you think?
Good with me. We can help with the tailing. Only one possible hitch I can see.
Yeah?
We're not positive this guy McMillan's a total stranger to Scully.
It sure sounded like it, didn't it, Joe? The way Scully and the Washburn girl were talking.
It's possible Scully might have seen a picture of McMillan. Maybe knows something about his background, his habits, how he does business.
Well, it's possible, yeah.
Suppose Scully starts asking you questions, Joe. How are you going to cover it?
Well, we can talk to the Washburn girl again. She might brief us.
Now, if we need the guy's life history, let's pick it up firsthand.
How do you mean?
Get McMillan.
Late that afternoon, Stanley McMillan was located at a small restaurant out in the valley and quietly placed under arrest. He was booked at one of the outlying stations on suspicion of violating the State Narcotics Act. We questioned him and got all the necessary information on his background that we needed. He told us that he had never seen or had any dealings before with Howard Scully. 7:30 p.m. I went home, changed my clothes, put away my gun, ID card, and the rest of my identification. An hour later, I checked in at a small hotel near 5th and Main Streets. 11:15 p.m., I left the hotel and started for 7th and Alameda Streets where the scheduled meet with Howard Scully was to take place. As in most cases, there was one all-important rule that I had to work by. If the suspects were to be arrested and successfully prosecuted, we had to get them with narcotics in their possession or under their control. And one of the first things that the working detective learns is that dealers such as Scully rarely do the actual handling of narcotics except at the actual moment of sale. If the officer fails to make an arrest at that moment, the odds are stacked heavily against the conviction of the narcotics criminal. 11:30 p.m. I got to the corner of 7th and Alameda Streets. I walked up to a man standing by a lamppost. He was short, heavily built, dark hair, dark eyes, and a small scar on his chin. He had on a gray coat and he carried a book under one arm. I put out my hand.
Yes?
My name's McMillan.
Oh, glad to know you, Mr. McMillan. My name's Scully.
Why are you?
Understand we have mutual friends, is that correct?
That's what I'm told, yeah.
You're from Louisiana originally, New Orleans.
No.
Oh, that's so? Thought you were from Louisiana.
Missouri, St. Louis.
Oh, I see. I suppose we go for a drive, huh?
My hotel's down on 5th. We could talk there.
Oh, I think my car would be better.
I can't afford to waste time. I got customers waiting.
Oh, you can believe me, this won't be a waste of time. I'm prepared to do business.
All right, let's go.
Fine. No, go ahead, McMillan.
All right, thanks.
Now, will you raise that handle on the other side so I can get in?
Yeah, sure.
Fine. Thank you. You can't be too careful in L.A., I hear.
Yeah, that's right. There's a lot of heat.
Oh? I hope now that's on you.
Don't worry, I'm clean.
No tumbles.
Would I be here if there were? I got customers to protect. Good customers.
Fine. You know, maybe we can do business. How much can you handle?
How much you got?
How about 10,000 worth? Standard rate, full measure. Hardly cut it all.
Sounds fair. We drove 3 more blocks, and then Scully pulled the car to a stop underneath a row of spreading palm trees on a deserted street. He pulled the emergency brake on, then he turned to me, clamped my arms to my sides, and shook me down. What's the pitch here? What's the idea?
No offense, McMillan. Simple precaution in case you had a gun.
What do you take me for, mister? I'm not used to doing business this way. That might go real great in the East, but it's nothing out here.
I said no offense. This is a hot town. You could be a fuzz. You can't be too careful. You know that.
Yeah, well, you don't have to pull that careful stuff with me. Who set up this meet, anyway?
May Wash.
All right. If you can't trust her, you can't trust me. Or maybe I'm not in the mood for business.
No, come on. Take it easy, Mac. We'll work this right, and we both got a good deal.
Well, let's get to the point. Where's the stuff?
You bring the money, we'll bring the merchandise.
Wait a minute. The car that pulled up behind us. Let's get out of here.
Oh, you're nervous, Mac. Relax. That's my partner. Come on, I'll introduce you.
All right.
Hi, Jim. Jim, this is McMillan. Mac, this is my partner, Jim Rhodes.
Right.
Yeah. Do we do business, Howard?
Yeah, he's all right, Jim. He's ready to score.
How much do you want?
Whole bundle. We can start with 10 G's worth.
Can you handle that, McMillan?
I'd say so if I couldn't. I don't give it away.
You get the money, you get the stuff.
When?
10 G's worth tonight, rest next week.
Midnight now. What do you expect me to do? Bring the money with me?
Howard will pick you up at 3 a.m., same corner.
Sure.
That doesn't give me much time, does it?
It's enough time if you're really looking. If you're just shopping, we'll forget about it right now.
A lot of my customers live out of town.
That's interesting.
10 grand is no geezer. Suppose I can't get all the money together.
Then don't show up. All or nothing.
You are listening to Dragnet, authentic stories of your police force in action. Oh, no.
Ah, that's different.
Yes, what a difference.
There's a difference you can hear, there's a difference you can see, but the difference in Fatima is quality.
Yes, friends, when you compare long cigarettes, you'll find that in Fatima, the difference is quality. Quality of tobaccos. The finest Turkish and domestic varieties, extra mild and superbly blended, to give you a much different, much better flavor and aroma than any other long cigarette.
Quality of manufacture. Smooth, plump cigarettes rolled in the finest paper money can buy.
Quality even to the appearance of the bright, clean yellow package. Carefully wrapped and sealed to bring you Fatima's rich, fresh, extra mild flavor.
Fatimas cost the same as other long cigarettes, but your first puff will tell you...
Ah, that's different.
Yes, in Fatima, the difference is quality. Ask your dealer for Fatima, the quality king-size cigarette. Best of all, long cigarettes. Start enjoying Fatima tomorrow.
June 25th, Thursday, 12:30 a.m. I had 2.5 hours to raise $10,000. The narcotics dealers, Howard Scully and his partner, Jim Rhodes, had laid it out for me. Either I had the money by 3 a.m. or there was no deal. If it failed to come off, our plan to trap the narcotics gang would be worth nothing. Rhodes and Scully could possibly find another buyer without our knowledge, make a deal, and flood the market with their store of narcotics. I knew it'd be impossible to get the $10,000 together. We had only one alternative. Fake our way as best we could. I went back to the hotel, put a call through to Captain Kearney at the office, and told him what had happened. He went to work on it. From the Narcotic Details Emergency Fund, set up for such purposes, we got together $600. From Chief of Detectives Thad Brown, Deputy Chief White, the State Narcotics Bureau, and anyone else available by phone, we succeeded in rounding up another $350. 2:30 a.m. The money was tied in 2 small bundles, with hundreds, 50s, and 20s on top. $1 bills were sandwiched in between. The 2 bundles were placed in a briefcase and delivered to me at the hotel on 5th Street. A gun was also in the briefcase. I took it out, put it in my pocket, closed the briefcase. 2:45 a.m. I left the hotel with the money and started for the big meet. 3 a.m. 7th and Alameda.
McMillan, how are you?
Scully?
We're down this way. You have the money?
Well, your pal said all or nothing. I got it.
Let's have a look.
How about the merchandise?
We can check it in the car. It's right down here.
Rhodes?
Hi. The money?
Yeah, that's right. I got the money. Now, how about a look at this stuff? I'd like to know what I'm buying.
We can stop on the way for a sample. Okay, Howard. You have some, McMullen?
What do you got?
Cashew nuts. Have some.
Thank you.
There's lots of heat in this town. Cops as thick as flies.
Yeah, that's right. Rough time. I gotta be careful.
What's the reason, anyway? When to start?
Well, about 6 weeks ago, Bulls tagged some high school kids. Half of them.
Huh?
What for? Well, they were regular hypes. Just punks, 18-year-olds. A couple of them were 17.
Young squirts.
Yeah, and the heat's going to get worse. One of the punks cashed in yesterday. Read it in the paper. Overdose.
Not going to help, is it?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I'm playing it close. I got good customers, and I'm not going to risk my neck.
How much stuff do you think you can handle a month, McMillan?
No thanks, no more. Oh, I got about 30 mainliners. They're regular and they're sure. 8-10 ounces a week, but they like good stuff, no alley hype junk.
Howard must have told you it's all we handle good stuff. If it goes right, we could make it a permanent connection with you.
I'd like to see what you're offering first.
We'll have a good look. All right, Howard, you know where to pull up.
Yeah.
You stay in the car, McMillan.
All right.
Yeah. All right, Mac, you can get out.
Yep.
There you go. Some of the best white stuff you've seen in a long time. Satisfy yourself.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, it's standard.
It's all good. Not just that sample.
Okay, I'll go.
Okay, now how about the money?
All right, have a look. There you are. 1 stack. 2 stacks, 100s, 20s, 10s. A few 5s in there. It's $10,000. Satisfied?
Okay. Jim?
Right.
Excuse me, Mac. Just a minute. I'm just checking.
What do you think you're doing? Get your lousy hands off of me.
No offense, McMillan. These are simple precautions.
Precautions, nothing. We're doing business, aren't we? You shook me down once tonight. Now, how many times is it going to take you?
No offense, Mac. He was just checking, that's all.
All right, then. Suppose I fan you two down. I got the dough. How do I know this isn't a hijack deal? Now, come on. This business works both ways. Either we have a deal or we don't. We play ball on both sides or not at all. I'm getting sick and tired of taking second place.
Okay, Mac. Okay, take it easy. Forget it, Howard. Let's all go back to the car.
Sure. I'm sorry, Mac. No offense.
Yeah.
Okay, let's close the deal.
Where are we going to go?
Don't worry, it's a safe place. Okay, Howard.
$3:35 a.m. In another hour, it'd start getting light. I knew they'd planned to have the buy take place before then. According to our plan, Ben and Sergeant Hunt, along with the other team of men from the State Narcotics Bureau, they were to tail us to the place of the meet and move in on a signal from me when the buy was actually in progress. 3:45 a.m. Scully drove out North Figueroa onto Pasadena Avenue and turned right onto Avenue 43. We headed up Montecito Drive. The area became more deserted. There were no homes around, no buildings of any kind to provide cover for anybody that might be following. Somewhere below, we could hear the rattle of a freight train on its way to the Southern Pacific yards. Off in the distance, I could see the lights of the city. They looked pretty far away. Scully finally pulled the car to a stop on the crest of the highest hill in the area. We got out.
What do you think, Mac?
A nice view.
Yeah. Spent a long time finding this spot. Foolproof.
Yeah?
Bring him over here, Jim. Let's show him.
Huh. See there? Clear view of everything down below. At least half a mile in every direction. No chance of getting trapped up here.
Pretty smart. That's the way I like to deal.
If there's any cops following us, we can see the lights before they get here. Plenty of time to cover up any evidence. Cops ask questions, well, we tell them we're just looking at real estate up here. It's pretty good, huh?
Well, I gotta hand it to you. You can't be too careful. What do you do for lookouts?
Let me show you. Swede? Oh, Swede.
Who's that?
Friend.
Yeah, Jim?
Well, what's the pitch? Who is this guy?
Business pal of Howard and me. Swede is Mr. McMillan.
What do you say?
How do you do?
Look, how many people do you need to make a buy, Rhodes, huh?
Swede's a lookout. It's a big fella, isn't he?
We got enough people here for a Sunday picnic.
We need a lookout. You just got to finish saying it. We can't be too careful.
Well, come on, let's wrap it up. Where's the stuff?
Swede, you want to go?
Okay, Howard.
How far does he have to go?
Close by. Stuff was put away down in the tall grass. Nobody ever found it.
It's a good idea. I like the way you operate.
Swede will have the stuff for you in a minute. Well, how about the money? Should we count it?
Rather wait till Swede gets back.
Okay. Let's wait for the car.
Can't beat this spot, can you, McMillan?
No, it's good.
You had no idea how much time we spent looking for it.
You did real good.
Yeah. Here you go.
Okay, thanks.
Now the money, hmm?
Well, how about counting it out here? Huh? I'd feel better keeping an eye on that road down below.
Okay, good idea.
Well, let's count it, Mac, huh?
Yeah, all right. Here you go. There's one bundle, and there's the other.
I'll count it, Jim.
Yeah, snap it up. We've been here long enough already.
1, 2, 4. There's quite a few $1 bills here.
Huh?
Well, there's a few of them, but it's all there. 10 grand.
That's how it could be with all these ones.
Now, let me see.
Don't bother, Rhodes.
Here, what are you trying to pull?
All right, get away from the car, Scully. You too, Swede.
Put the gun down, Mac. You won't get away with it.
Get your hands behind your head. That means you too, Rhodes.
Nobody's hijacked us, McMillan. You're not going to be the first one.
It's no hijack, mister. This is a pinch.
He's a fuzz. He's a lousy fuzz. I knew I should have found him again.
Shut up, Howard. You know we can square this with you, Mac. $5,000 cold cash, no questions.
You're talking to yourself, Rhodes.
I'll make it 10. 10 grand cash. Now, you can't afford to pass that up.
Come on, how about it, Mac? You're human just like we are. You can use the dough.
You keep your hands behind your head, mister.
Use some sense, copper. Swede's as strong as a horse. I could put him on you. He'd break every bone in your body.
You'll have to get past this gun first.
You're not going to stop all three of us. How do you think you're going to get back to town?
Don't worry. You won't have to walk.
You'll never get us downtown. Swede'll break you in half. He'll kill you.
You just gave me an idea, Rhodes.
Huh?
You're pretty tough. Shouldn't bother you. I'll kill the Swede right now. You and Scully can carry his body in front of me. We'll start walking down that road and we hit the nearest place with a phone. I think that'll take care of it, won't it?
He hasn't got the guts, Jim.
Turn around, Swede.
Oh, look, don't kill me, mister. I'll go away. Don't shoot.
Turn around. Stay where you are, Scully.
Don't kill him, Copper. Don't kill Swede. We'll do anything you say.
Somebody coming. Look, Mac, we'll give you every dime we own, $50,000. Now tell him nothing's happened.
Ben, over here.
$50,000, Mac, you can't lose.
Right, Joe. Back over this way.
The three of them, Ben.
Okay. All right, behind your back. Come on.
Couldn't get here any sooner, Joe. Had to park at the bottom of the hill if they'd have seen us.
Stand still, mister.
Yeah. We circled around on foot, climbed up through the grass.
I was beginning to think I lost you.
All right, you two, get him behind your back.
Back.
Hi, Joe.
Here's the junk right here. These 2 packages.
Good. That ought to sew it up.
Look, talk it over with your partners, huh? $50,000. You do the right thing. It's all yours.
How about it? $50,000 you can't lose.
What they talking about, Joe?
But they got a big deal. They'll give us $50,000 if we let them go.
How about it, Tex? You could use the dough, new car, new house. Just forget you ever saw us. Easy as that. $50,000 cash. What do you say, Tex, huh?
Sorry, you got the wrong man.
What?
My name ain't Tex.
The story you have just heard was true. Only the names were changed to protect the innocent.
In a moment, the results of their trial. Now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you. In his training, the working detective is taught the importance of thoroughness. He has learned never to overlook even the smallest detail. What may seem unimportant to the novice may well be the one thing to help the working detective successfully culminate his case. So, with a cigarette. The people who make Fatima are well-trained and thorough in the manufacture of their cigarette. Fatimas contain the finest Turkish and domestic tobacco superbly blended. And pack after pack, Fatima is extra mild. If you're a long cigarette smoker like I am, smoke Fatima. They cost the same, but in Fatima, the difference is quality. Smoke Fatima.
May Washburn, Howard Lewis Scully, James Henry Rhodes, and John Swede Nelson were tried and convicted. They received their sentences as prescribed by law and are now serving their term in the state penitentiary. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases, portions transcribed from official files.
This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.